So we are now recording. We are live. So welcome to the I guess this would be the third episode of my West Marches game. Um, I'm Ed. I'm a Dungeon Master. I've been playing these games since 1978. I've been working on this Book of the North sandbox probably for a little over 2 years prior to me opening the doors on it. So over the course of those 2 years, I would game with my boys running pre-generated 5th edition stuff that they were into with their buddies and for friends. So I didn't have to really spend a lot of time on it. But then all of my Dungeon Master world building stuff was invested in this stuff that you're seeing before you now. So that's been a lot of fun. I definitely, biggest part of the hobby for me, along with mini painting and building my own terrain and stuff like that, is just the exercise of world building, drawing my maps, coming up with monsters and character and story. That to me is as fun as playing, and is why I kind of invest such a really ridiculously and probably unhealthy amount of time into this part of my hobby. So at any rate, if everybody wants to just go around, introduce yourselves just really briefly and tell the viewers the name of your character and their class, that would be great. We'll start up there with Hobbs.
Hey everyone, I am Jason Hobbs. I am playing a fighter named Rengrim. This is my first session and I'm really excited.
Awesome. Mike?
I'm Mike Mahaney. I am playing Victor Hearthstone, a human cleric. This is also my first adventure with the group. And I hope to bring some divine light to this group of vagabonds.
Awesome. Steve?
Yes, I'm playing the noble Baron Fell, a nobleman from a distant land who is here to ensure that everyone knows how marvelous he truly is.
All right. Wyvern?
All right. I am DM Wyvern. I'm a longtime gamer myself, and today I'm playing Gurak, a murderous half-orc.
All right. Tom?
I'm Tom Mahaney, and I am playing the human druid, Braden.
And then over in chat, we have Spencer, who is playing Kimmick Hornbrand, and I have the chat area open. It should be visible in our recording as well.
Are you guys able to hear me now?
Yes.
Hey!
Yes.
Hey,
Yep.
sir.
Yeah, I couldn't get the computer audio to work, so I dialed back in with the phone. That's fine.
Okay, that sounds great. No problem. Welcome back.
Thanks. So I saw it was my time for intros. Yeah, Kimmick Hornbrand is a dwarf. He has been sort of blackmailed into working for the hags. They are holding his daughter hostage.
That's awesome. All right. That's awesome. And thanks for spending a little time reading the background material for the game. All right. So you guys are clustered around a corner table in the Black Pilgrim, which is this kind of a large heap of a leaning to the side inn, which is several hundred years old. It's kind of the dark smoke-stained wood and thick rafters kind of surround you. There are a couple of other individuals sitting around the bar who would be characters who are not in play at this point, who are having their own meals and drinks. And you guys have decided that this morning you are going to set forth and do something. It's up to you to decide. The whole world is open to you. So whether you want to go to the caves or out to the surrounding area or embark on some other investigation, that is completely open to you guys. There's a lady that goes by Cook as her title that's behind the bar and seems to run the place. She's been helpful in the past to the party, asking questions, looking for rumors and information and that sort of thing. She seems to be pretty supportive and open of your efforts. Upstairs, there's a small supply shop run by an individual that looks suspiciously like me, the Dungeon Master. And he has a little extra gear just in case maybe you might have forgot something. He has torches and backpacks and ropes and 10-foot poles and just basic things like that. he also, on the down low, has been a money changer for the group. So at one point, the group found part of a Duchy of Rorgan payroll for the guards of the Free Merchant Guild that had been robbed by someone and tucked away in the caves beneath the city. And the party found it and then used the guy upstairs as a way to change it into local currency so they wouldn't stir up any suspicion among the local guards as to why they were walking around with Duchy of Rorgan shields as their coins rather than the local currency. So that's where you're at, and I will hand it over to you guys.
Any veterans got some suggestions of what they want to do? I read all the stuff, but it was actually last week, and I've forgotten everything that I read almost.
All right.
Well, in our last adventure, we received some information that something very evil is in the woods around Langercliff, and it's moving closer to the city. A creature that's very attuned to nature has noticed it and is maybe spawning some of the monsters we fought the last go around. So I don't know if we want to investigate the woods or not.
Sounds dangerous.
So there's the woods, and of course there's the caverns underneath Bolgrad, the city that we're currently at. That's where we got the ample amount of loot that the party can avail of. I think we have something like 60 gold in a party pool, right, Ed?
You guys pulled out 60 gold for the characters who were on that adventure, but there is a party pool. It's not very much. It's sort of a leftover loose change after the party treasures divided equally amongst the people on that adventure. And I think we're up to a whopping 10 gold pieces in party loot. But, you know, the adventure's young. This is only a couple sessions in.
Right.
Well, Baron Fell will volunteer that those caves were very lucrative, and all we fought were some rats. How hard can that be? Oh, wait, there were some walking skeletons too. Now that I think,
What?
I've had a lot of wine since then.
You forgot about walking skeletons? Now, this is my task, to destroy the evil undead, those who do not sleep.
Oh,
I would
fantastic!
love to head back there and destroy some more before that fool of a king has his entire kingdom destroyed by the undead hanging down the king's road. Fool, we sent him envoys, and yet he leaves carcasses hanging in the wind. Does he not know of the portent of the comet to arrive and give us a new necromancing lord? He'll have an army to raise in a moment's notice. The undead must be banished quickly and dispatched with due process. So let's head there. If you have found
I love your fervor. That's wonderful,
where we
wonderful. I any man things to rest, clean up the gold. Who is fine?
You're breaking up there a little bit, Baron Sissy-Fell, but I think that you've agreed to go with the party.
Well, if everyone else is agreed, I mean, traipsing about in the woods sounds wonderful too, of course.
Gurak does what he usually does and calls over the cook, hands her a silver piece for a mug, and asks her about recent rumors.
Oh. Well, you already know about the fire in Langercleef, right? Well, the owner of the Giant's Crown Tavern has been missing for some time. I think his wife has been running the tavern ever since he disappeared. That tavern's not really that far away. You just follow the Sworn Ride, which is the dirt road that surrounds the city and then goes down to Langercliff in the south and then north heads towards the main road. And it just sits there at the junction between the main road and the road leaving the city. It's maybe 7 or 8 miles from here, so a good half day's walk. Now I hope you are ready. It's a bit cold out. It has been brightening up. You know, it had been snowing the last few days. So there's a bit of snow on the ground. So you'll want to bundle up a bit. Although it looks nicer out today. It looks like it might warm up.
I'm going to assume that no one told me that they have kept the treasure that they found. They wouldn't want me in on that. And they would pretty much tell right away that that wouldn't be something to share with me. So I would pipe up at this point to say that I do not think that we should leave the city. It is already lightly defended, and without the city guard getting their normal pay and probably heading back to their farms to make a living, it's probably not a good time to leave the city undefended. But that's just my 2 cents.
All right. So is the general consensus that you guys want to venture back down into the caves and kind of have a look around?
Sounds good to me.
Sure. Can the druid do something before they leave?
Sure.
I had collected that cave whistle when
Yeah.
last time we were down the caves, and you'd mentioned that I could talk to the herbalist about paying for some sort of recipe on what to do with it.
Yeah. You want to go across the street real quick and talk to the old lady herbalist over there?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Gurak also has sort of like an adventure time activity to launch before we head down to the caverns. Along with Tom's request, Wyvern would like to check and see if the cook can find out any information and rumors about this mysterious tinkerer they'd heard about at Langerford that's connected to the orphan that he's secured at the Pilgrim.
Okay.
And he's willing to pay good coin for that.
She thinks about it and she says, well, I can't be sure. You know, the king's grandfather went up into the old woods many years ago, and he raised the standing stone circle that belongs to the Druids of the Henge and pulled down most of those stones. I know that they hunted through the woods with his warriors and killed as many of the Druids of the Henge as they could find, but I'm sure that a few have survived. But they were known to wear white cloaks, white robes.
Okay, well, that was a very quick response from the cook. She wouldn't have a means to sort of put word out that this party of adventurers is trying to track down a white robed man in the woods.
Ooh, who would you even want me to tell that? There's so many people are so suspicious of everyone in this town.
All right, okay. As far as that goes.
Especially the priests of the Church of the Everflame, who all wear white cloaks.
Oh, I like the priests of the Everflame. She says they are good folk. They do many good things for the town.
Why, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Not as many as the druids, but they're okay.
Druids,
Ah,
pick
now
a
you-
side, Druid.
Not a competition, gentlemen, please. We all do our part.
All right. So you guys step out into the morning and
Wait,
have a look around.
Ed, I have important preparation.
All right.
I get a chalice of wine and make sure that my wineskin is full.
Oh, okay.
Well,
is
Now I'm ready.
All right.
So along with the Baron filling up his wineskin, Gurak checks with the merchant if he has any extra flasks of oil on stock.
Yeah.
How many could he sell me?
He could sell you 2 of them. They're 25 gold each, if I remember right.
25 gold?
Yeah.
Well, he can keep them then.
Only the first ones were free.
Yeah, I'm not saying 25 gold.
Yeah, they're expensive. Holy water is also quite a mint to buy.
Okay. Well, in that case, no flasks of oil for me.
Okay.
You mean like burning oil, flaming oil or something, not just like lamp oil, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, yes, I think we were a bit short on torches last time. Can we purchase torches from that strange fellow upstairs?
Yeah. He'll charge you 1 gold piece for 6.
Perhaps
Alright.
we should hire a torchbearer also. It is best to have both hands free. Find yourself a young lad, some urchin who's looking for a job.
Gurak, you can have that little girl Kala that you rescued from the village.
Perfect. Perfect. Make yourself useful. 2 torches, one in each hand.
Gurak
I do
turns
think we should
towards
take her down to the catacombs.
Whoa, that big feedback. Was someone saying something?
They said we
I
should
do not think taking her down to the catacombs is a wise idea.
Yeah, no, Gurak is not going to allow for that. That's not happening. He turns towards the cleric and he says, you know, we don't rely on torchbearers. We've always carried our own torches.
Well,
I mean,
it must be hard with that 2-handed sword to wield it effectively with a torch in your hand.
well, I don't carry a torch, but someone else usually in the party does.
Oh, a torch bearer then. Yes. I see.
All right. So, anybody else need to do anything before we leave the tavern and get rolling?
Just can they do anything with the cave whistle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you go across the street and talk to the old lady over there. So you guys step out into the day, and the last few days have seen a light dusting of snow falling over the city and the surrounding land. 2 or 3 inches of snow blanket the rooftops and ground. It has begun to warm this morning. The sky is only partially cloudy, and it's creating that sort of light fog. But then when you have a snow melt, it just kind of creates over the morning can create pretty dense fog eventually. But right now it's kind of a light fog. So you go across the muddy way and knock the mud off your boots and walk up into the front of this ramshackle small wooden house. And there's this one-eyed, quite old woman sweeping up on the inside. And there are all kinds of clumps of herbs and different things hanging from the ceiling in bunches and jars of different things around the inside of her shop. And she looks up at you and says, "Oh, yes, well, welcome to my shop. What can I do for you, gentlemen, eh?"
Well, mistress, I have acquired a certain amount of this cave whistle, and I heard that you might have a recipe for what I could use it for.
Cave whistle, eh? Let me see. And she goes to this book, this big book, and she starts thumbing through it, and it has all these different plants and different concoctions in her book. And she's all in different strange writings, which you're not easily able to decipher just by kind of peering at the front of the book. There's only one of you who can decipher that at this point, and they're not here. And she says, yes, I have a recipe I could sell you that involves cave whistle. It would cost you, well, all right, there's a couple of things you can do with cave whistle. You can brew it with something called barweed, which you can make liquor out of, and that will be a poison that you can use on insects and things like that. Or you can mix that and some bearberries, and it'll change just for a very short period of time, just for a few seconds, your skin into lizard scales and make you immune to the poisons of things like spiders and centipedes. Do you have a preference?
I think the latter would be very interesting. Could I buy the other ingredients from you, or do I have to collect them on my own?
Oh no, you can buy them here. I'll help you make the mixture if you like. Now,
Freight across the street has barweed. She was using it to make a rather noxious drink for us last time I was there.
Oh, it's quite common, yes. It's not hard to find. You just need to know the right amount to add and how to add it. She says, now, do you want to make the standard concoction that will last you for 3 days, or do you want the curative, which will let it last for a whole month once you make the mixture? Now, having the curative, me teaching you everything is quite expensive. That's going to be 50 gold pieces. But for me to just teach you the basics of the skin into lizard scales and immunity to poison for a few moments, that will only cost you 20 gold pieces for that training, and but it will only have a shelf life of 3 days.
Well, even though it's going to wipe me out, I think I'm going to pay 50 gold pieces.
All right. Well, do you want to make that happen right now? You want to use an hour of your morning to do that?
No, I don't want to hold everyone up. So, I mean, if I could pay her and then do this when we return, that would be fine. Or give her half the money now and pay her the remainder when she teaches me.
Well, you're an adventurer, no offense, but I'd rather be paid up front.
Why, woman? Where are you going?
But I will leave the cave whistle with you and give you 25 gold. And if I don't come back, what? You've gotten more things you can sell, and you've gotten 25 gold for nothing.
All right. Just this once.
I am in your debt, mistress.
Yes, you are. She scoops up the gold with her sort of arthritic, gnarled hands and into a box, and takes out a piece of parchment and scrawls in common a bunch of jargon and information about how to make this concoction, and then folds it up and passes it over to you.
Woman, old woman, do you have you don't have a poison that could be used to coat a blade, do you?
I can make several different kinds of malefacti. What do you want? What kind do you want?
I'm just looking for poison, not Latin.
Well, do you want to cause your opponent to bleed an additional amount, or do you want pustules to appear on their body with explode with fragments of bone?
At this point, I'm leaving the apothecary.
Paralysis would be sufficient if there is such a thing.
Oh, paralysis. I don't know that mixture. I'm sure it's out there, but and I'll pay you well if you discover the means to make that.
Very good.
Flipping through her book. She says you would so your options are something that can make your opponent bleed even more than they would normally from their wound. The blood will gush and flow in fountains of red gloriousness.
That sounds beautiful. I'll take that.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. I can tell you'll be a favorite customer of mine. All right.
Yes, I'm sure.
All right. So she writes up a potion brew for you that involves something called black lily, which is a form of lily that grows in the swamps around here, and it's also a very simple brew. And again, you're adding it with barweed to get the basic.
All right. Remind me not to drink anything with barweed again, gentlemen.
You have to build up a tolerance over time.
That's right. But that will poison your blade for one hit. It'll cause an extra D4 of bleeding. And the poison itself only has a shelf life of 3 days. So if you don't use it within 3 days, it's gone anyway.
Yep. Marvelous. Thank you, dear woman.
Yeah, you're very welcome, handsome nobleman.
Yes, when I come back into my inheritance, I will see you roundly rewarded.
Oh, wonderful.
Roundly.
All right, so are you guys done here?
Yes, so Ed, I'm taking the 2 rats with me, but I'm going to leave Kip to keep the girl safe. So I'll leave the dog with her.
Yeah, rats.
Yeah, I was going to say that Gurak tells the girl that under no circumstances, this is sort of my parting actions before heading down to the caverns, he tells the little girl that under no circumstances is she to leave the Black Pilgrim. And he also gives the same instructions to the cook and a gold piece to make sure that the girl is watched over and taken care of.
All right, I'll keep an eye on her, but I'm not a mother or anything. I'll do my best to keep her busy with chores around the kitchen.
She'd be safe as a torchbearer.
And I'll tell Kip to stay with her and guard her.
Okay. All right, so you guys venture on down the muddy way towards the hole in the wall that you usually kind of venture through to get to the cave.
Yes,
All right.
our home away from home.
All right, as you're kind of going down the muddy way, you can see the chapter house for the Pentagarchy, not very far outside of the safe zone, just a few buildings away, right? And right out front of that, right where you normally take a turn up this alley towards the hole in the wall, you see a well-armored, tan-skinned, and sinewed Carthusian. It's a human from the south, the city-states of Carthusia. And he's in a piecemeal, kind of gladiatorial-looking armor. And he has one of those gladiator helmets with the swing-open armor grill on. And he's helping a woman, a northern warrior woman, load up gear onto her horse. His horse is already geared up. And you can see that he has a blue pentacle tattooed between his eyes up on his forehead. And she has blue pentacles tattooed all over the backs of her hands. They look like they're getting ready to go somewhere.
Does that mean anything to us? The tattoos or the...
He must be her bodyguard. How he is so lightly dressed in this weather is amazing. He must have quite the constitution.
So
I think that means he's one of those witchers or whatever.
he's a hallow.
Hallow, yeah.
Yeah, they're the muscle for the Pentagarchy. So a Pentagarchy wizard will sacrifice a first level spell once they reach 3rd or 5th level, and they'll make a magical bond with a fighter. And they'll share some of their hit points. They'll always know where each other is. And the Hallow gains a low-level immunity to 1st and 2nd level spells. And they are able to, if they touch somebody who's cast an arcane spell in the last 24 hours, their tattoos will glow and cause them pain. And if they're near an active spell, their tattoo will glow and alert them that they're near an active spell. So they're basically the witch hunters for the Pentagarchy. And it looks like they are gearing up and headed out on a mission, doing their business.
Better out than in, I say.
All right, so you continue past them. You head up the alley, and you see only Bill is there today, not Bill and Warren. Bill waves and greets you. The guard that guards that hole in the wall.
Oh,
hello,
you know this
gentlemen.
fine
Welcome
fellow.
back. Oh,
One at a time, boys.
Bill's a city guard, or
yeah.
oh,
This is Baron Sissy Fell. Are you going back into the caves?
Yes, after our last triumph, we figured we would return and continue to make the city safer for all the citizens. And look, we have a cleric, a priest of the Ebon Flame, is that right?
Church of the Everflame, yes.
Yes, the Everflame. And of course, my good friends, Gorak, Kaimik, Rengrin, Braden. Did I get everybody there? I think so.
And Kimmick Hornbrand.
Yes, Kimmick Hornbrand. Did I get that right? All right.
Yeah.
But we're looking for a torchbearer. Have you seen is there anyone who would be willing to carry a torch for us into the caves? We would reward them greatly.
How much would you pay?
I think we would pay a full gold piece and a portion of the treasure.
Well, there's a gent and his wife who live in that house. I use the term loosely. There, next to the hole in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I think your druid had some dealings with the wife the other day.
Dealing.
Well, those are probably private matters. I don't think you need to share that with the rest of us.
But I'm
Careful, thief.
Thief!
That wounds me.
I imagine that he would be willing to carry a torch for you if he's sober.
Excellent. Well, then we may be able to solve 2 birds with 1 stone. Very well, very good. We'll go to the house.
Okay.
If you guys are all amenable.
He's more likely to light himself on fire than be of any use to us.
Well, as long as it sheds some light.
I'm just trying to pave the way for you, Druid.
Gurak sneers and says, the last thing we need is some drunken sot who's going to piss his breeches and drop the torch at the first sign of danger. I agree with the tree hugger this once. he's not needed.
Ren Girim surreptitiously puts his whiskey away.
Well, Gorak, in my duchy, we have a saying, which is, you don't need to be faster than the giant rat. You just need to be faster than the drunk guy carrying the torch. But if you prefer, we can just carry them ourselves.
Gurak shrugs. I don't mind if he dies.
Well,
Excellent. That's the spirit. We'll go to the house.
All right. Baron Fell goes up to the steps, knocks on the door with some authority. And you hear a baby crying inside and some shouting. And then eventually this woman flings open the door, and she's got this enormous baby on her hip. And she's all, flush around the cheeks. She's got like reddish yellow hair that's all hanging loose. And she looks half starved, like she hasn't been eating great for a while. And she says, he opens the door, and the only word she says to Baron Fell is, "What?"
Well, is your husband here, madam?
Turns and goes,
We have employment for him.
"Call up, get your lazy hide over here, your last, get down here. You've got somebody who's willing to actually pay you for your work for once." And you hear a lot of jumbling and rushing around inside, and this peasant-looking fellow comes to the front door, and he's holding his, long-tailed kind of cap in his hands in front of him, and he says, "Oh, yes, my lord." He just
Excellent.
kind of, the whiskey smell just kind of wafts over you in a wave.
Well, this may be more dangerous than I thought. As a torchbearer, you could easily light yourself and the rest of us on fire. We need someone to carry a torch into the caves. We would pay you
How much will you pay me?
I reassess. Why, 5 silver pennies, Collop, and a share of our treasure. You'll get
A very
1%.
small treasure.
Whoa. Oh, thank you, my lord. He bows and bows, and he says, "I'd be most honored to carry your torches and, your pack, whatever else you would need, my lord."
Perfect.
Now, let me just buckle on my blade here, and he gets this kind of long dirk, straps it to his hip.
Excellent.
Dusts off his clothes. He has no armor on.
Fantastic.
All right. So he's going to
we'll,
follow right on the heels of the Baron Fell, pretty much.
No. I stick him in front of me. Hand him the torch.
well done, Baron.
All right, his wife clears her throat and is standing there with her hand out, and she says, "Now, 3 silver up front just in case my husband doesn't come back."
Oh, I think it'd be easier to give you all 5, and I hand her all 5.
Very well. She pats him on the back, gives him one of the silver pieces, and says, "Good luck, husband."
All right. To the caves, my friends.
All right. So you head through the hole in the wall, kind of down this grassy hill to where there's this little creek kind of coming out of a cave in the side of the cliff, right underneath the city wall. And in the cave entrance, you can see the smashed up remains of a skeleton. And
Which direction are we facing right now?
you are facing east, I believe. Let me grab my dungeon map here.
How big do you think the room is?
So Gurak takes
Cave
aside the
entrance
party.
is 20 feet wide, headed
Right.
east.
So Gurak takes aside the party and explains to them that the party has already delved into this dungeon part way, and he takes a moment to explain what they ran across. So very quickly, we breached this initial chamber and destroyed a skeleton along the way. This chamber leads to a main corridor that we explored part way, but there's a branching corridor, a smaller branching corridor that branches off towards the left that led to a
To the right.
Sorry, to the right. That led to a network of rat warrens that we destroyed over the course of our exploration of the dungeon.
And another skeleton, my friend. Remember that other one in the nest.
That's right. That's right. So
Two skeletons.
several dangers to be faced. In this part of the dungeon that we were exploring, this sort of rat warren area, there is one area that has yet to be fully explored, and that was there is a small chamber with a large iron door that led into a passageway containing a pool of some sort. Our druid charmed one of the rats, and the rat gave us this information. We haven't yet gone down that particular path just yet. So there's the option of checking out that pool area or continuing on down that main stretch and seeing what the dungeon has in store for us.
Yes, one other just safety tip for you, my friends. If there is a corpse you come across and there are blue lights around it, that usually has so far meant that it is animated by some necromantic magic. So be on your guard.
Yeah, if you see something dead, be suspicious.
Does this skeleton have any indication of what its position in life was?
It did originally. I think it had a hand axe with it, a helm. It didn't have its shield with it, which would have been a way to identify who it was. Mm-hmm. But when they found the body, it was only a partially decayed body. It looked like that guy had been dead there maybe a week. But when they approached the body, whatever necromantic magic it had absorbed by being in and around the cave area melted all the flesh off of its body in moments, and it rose up as just a bone animated skeleton. So any features or musculature, all that just melted away when it animated.
So I should add that we discovered that chest that belonged to that merchant guild within the rat warren area of the cave. And one thing that we still haven't quite answered for ourselves is how that chest got there in the first place.
So you're saying you found the chest that pays the town guard and you didn't return it?
Oh.
Good God, half man, don't you realize that hinges on the defense of the city? Tell me you still have it. Tell me it's safe.
It's still safe.
It's safely spent towards the defense of the city.
Really? Well, I think perhaps you should find a way to refill those coffers before the city becomes defenseless.
Gurak tells the cleric he has every chance to refill the coffers off his own share of the loot on this run through the dungeon.
Well, if you want a safe city, a safe haven to survive in while you adventure, perhaps you should think of more than just yourself.
Rengrim hasn't spoken much, but he is a slightly larger sworn man, one of these Northmen. And funnily enough, though, his voice is rather high-pitched, and he whistles when he speaks from a gap between his teeth. I can't really do it, but that's what the guy said. So he whistles when he speaks, and he's like, I know you've been through here before, but I wouldn't mind seeing it with my own eyes. So I'd actually like to map on my graph paper as we go, if that's all right. You can just say the directions, and I'll do them. We don't have to study it later or make it perfect. It'll still look good.
Okay.
So you just kind of say about 20 by 20, whatever.
Okay.
I just posted the last map we had from the caves.
I saw it. It looked like more of a like a point crawl than like an actual map, though. I didn't look at it that close, though.
Okay, I just posted it if you want to put it in chat.
Yeah, but good call, Hobbs. Ed is really good with dimensions and measurements, so by all means, take a crack at that graph paper.
All
right, so how about this? I'll describe the cave as you enter it. When we reach an intersection that you've either been to before or not, you can, as a group, decide whether you want to venture down that direction or not. Continue on. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, so the cave is 20 feet wide and has a 10-foot-high roof. It's mostly limestone. It heads straight east for 20 feet, and it kind of does a little bit of a curve around to the south for 10 feet, heads east again for about 30 feet and then starts to turn to the north. And right at that turn where it's starting to turn to the north on the right-hand side of the corridor, you see that there is a 5-foot gap in the wall. And let's see, Gurak will point out that that is the gap that they squeezed through, and it almost immediately opens out into a series of connected caves. That's where the rats were found. And even through that 5-foot gap, just 10 feet beyond it, it opens up into like a 10-foot wide cavernous sort of intersection, 3-way intersection that goes, one branch goes sort of southeast, one branch goes to the west, and one branch goes south. But that area, that little intersection area, you see some mostly now devoured corpses of rats. All that's left really is the bones.
I'm good. So this is where we all squeeze through there?
Now, in the past, they've squeezed through there and done most of their adventuring in that area, but the tunnel continues on, curving towards the north, another 20 feet, and then it kind of becomes a V. The main corridor continues straight up, going north, but then there's a northwest tunnel branch that's 10 feet wide that kind of comes off of there, and you haven't been down that direction yet, either one of those. Now, flowing along the floor of this main 20-foot wide passage, right in the middle is a 5-foot wide creek that's kind of worn its way down into the floor, and it's flowing out of the caves to the outside.
And what's our current marching order?
It's a great question. All right, in the past we've had Gurak in front, but let's see, we have Rengrim now as a fighter. Do we want Rengrim up front?
Well,
I figure that I can cover you from behind you if you so desire. Right, can you do that, Reach? Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Gurak.
Yeah, could I get a quick sense of who has the highest AC right now in the party?
Rengrim for sure.
What's his AC, out of curiosity?
1.
Oh my goodness, he should be up front.
Wait,
All right.
Is he wearing plate mail?
Yeah.
Oh, plate.
That AC's not going to guard him against traps.
No.
So, yeah, so we got to figure out how are we going to scout ahead to protect our tank. Personally, I always vote to send in the rats, but that's just me.
I think you need to get your own rats, Gurak.
Send in the rats.
Yeah, he has a giant rat named Templeton.
A giant rat? So he's like a 3-foot rat?
It's
No, he's more cat size.
more like, no, he's between a cat and a dog. He's about,
Okay.
he's pretty good size. And then there's another rat with him that they haven't named yet.
Another one the same size? Or not like a typical rat, just a giant rat?
No, they're both giant rats.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
But one is my animal companion, and the other one isn't. He's a companion to my animal companion.
he's a friend of a friend.
He's a companion twice removed.
How loyal that second rat might be. It might be just sort of along for a ride because it gets food.
Well,
So just be aware, guys, that if you die, you become food. So
Right, and I'll just add here that this place is just packed with traps, so it's a real danger for us to think about.
I believe we have a trap finding rogue and a dwarf who is probably well versed in finding underground traps.
Want to put Kemek up front, guys? Is that okay with you, Kemek?
That is, I am happy to be up front. I assume that our illustrious torchbearer will not be too far behind with the light.
You're a dwarf, aren't you?
That's right. I think what's the name of our torchbearer again? It's
Collop.
Collop. Yes, so Collop will be right behind you. Don't worry.
All right, so it's Rengrim and Kemek in front, Collop behind Kemek. Who's behind Rengrim? Do you want to put Gurak there?
Actually, Gurak would prefer to be at the back of the party to see if he can sort of stay in the shadows and attempt to flank any enemies they encounter.
The Baron will be behind. Be behind him. That's fine.
All right. And then in the third rank, do we want Hearthstone cleric?
Certainly. Yes, I need quick access to the front in case we find any of the undead.
All right.
Believe me, I'll get out of your way.
I'll hop over the dwarf. It shan't be a problem.
And then we'll have Braden next to
Yeah,
the
I'll be-
cleric, and taking up the rear is Gurak. So we've got Rengrim in front with Kemek, Baron Sissy Fell, and Calip the Torchbearer in the second rank. We've got Victor Hearthstone and Braden the Druid in the third, and we've got Gurak kind of watching everybody's back. I think it's ironic you have the half-orc watching your backs, but he's behind everybody else. All right.
Seemed rather adamant about it. Rather adamant about it.
Does the party want to continue forwards, heading straight to that fork in the cave, or do you want to return to the Rat Warrior area to the right? What do you guys think?
Just to add some more information, Templeton told me, so that area, we went through the door and there's a place, and as Greg said, it goes down to a pool, but that's entering the sewer area of underneath the city. So it's not rough caves. It starts entering really man-made tunnels.
Yeah, on the far side of the Rat Warren, there's a door that they found that opens up into the sewers under the city.
Is that the thing marked Oaken Door?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And actually, on that note, Gurak, tells the party that if anyone did, in fact, put that chest in the cave, it's likely they came through the sewers.
That's a good point.
An easy way to sneak it in. Well, I didn't come prepared to slosh around in muck and sewers. Had I known, I would have brought some nostril plugs.
Oh, your shoe's gonna get dirty.
Listen, Druid, I know you live in the filth, but others such as I tend to stay away from it.
Maybe we stay to the left then.
I agree with the Baron. I concur.
All right, so you follow the passage, the main 20-foot wide passage with the water in it up another 20 feet to where the intersection is, where there's the 10-foot wide tunnel that heads to the northwest, and then the 20-foot wide passage or tunnel with the stream in it continues on to the north as far as you can see.
Is the stream flowing away from us, deeper into the caverns, or is it coming out of the caverns?
Coming out of the caverns. In fact, you seem to be, well, the cave's pretty far down the cliff from the wall, so you seem to be walking upwards just at a little bit of a rise.
Mm-hmm. Keep your sharp eye out, Kimmik.
Rengrim will head left into the smaller passage.
Okay. All right. The small passage continues for 10, 20, and at that point you can look ahead and you can see that it opens up into a rough cavern. It's fairly small. It's 30 feet wide and 30 feet long. And then it looks like it continues on to the north past that in another 10-foot wide tunnel. But within that cave, you can see the remains of a long unused campfire. You can see that there are two backpacks that look like they've been torn open and the contents spilled and sort of scattered about the cavern. And that there's like a moldy looking green wool blanket in there. Let's see. The floor of the cavern is sort of the same sandy, gravelly floor as the rest of the cave has been so far, and it's kind of damp in here. You can see water kind of dripping down the sides of the limestone walls. That's what you see.
This reminds me of one other thing, because I think we had reason to believe there are some large crabs down here. So just...
What's the floor made out of? Is it just rock or is there sand?
It's kind of that not beach sand, but just gravel that's been ground and ground and ground until it becomes a black and gray kind of grit, and then small pebbles. And it's, pretty deep. You can grind your boot heel into it and not really reach the bottom of it, although it's, wet but firm footing.
Nice. So I wouldn't think a crab would be able to erupt out of this anywhere, but when you watch the other tunnel to the north, and I'll poke around with the rags and stuff with my spear.
All right.
Glurak hands over his 10-foot pole to Ringgrim and says, "This could probably help you better than that spear."
I'll use my spear. It's easier to poke it with if it moves.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hobbs, go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
1.
Awesome. All right. You're poking around, and echoing in your mind is the ground is too heavy or not quite what a crab would erupt out of. As this strange, the closest description you can get is that it's some creature that might have been based on a crab, but it has like a maw that opens up like this, and you see kind of predator-like teeth in its
Like
maw,
a leech?
like a leech kind of mouth, and then it does have one big kind of grasping claw, and it erupts. It's pretty big. It's like 2 dinner plates size big. It erupts out of the gravel and the dirt next to where you're at.
I'm
And
certainly surprised.
You are surprised. So it rushes up and it tries to clamp onto you with your amazing plate mail armor class. Let's see how well this goes. All right, it takes its pincher and it gets onto your leg, except that it just slips right off of your greave and doesn't do anything to you. And you look down at
Well, it seems like an abomination, so I'll whistle that out. Abomination, and try and stab it.
All right, we're going to do initiative then for the party. Hobbs, will you roll a d6? We just do d6 initiatives, and Ty goes to the party.
Another 1. Beat a 1, sir. You couldn't possibly do that.
I got a 2.
Oh, son of a
Well rolled.
rigged.
Get it out of the way early.
That's right.
The crab and Rangrim kind of square off in the sand, and the crab kind of scuttles to the side a little bit and snaps at Rangrim, but he is just too deft as a fighter, and it does not get him. Go ahead, Rangrim, and attack this thing.
And everything's like cocked on my table here. A 2. I beat it by 1 by 1.
Awesome.
Slowly but steadily.
Awesome.
Far too honest for this party, Hobbs.
15 rounds late. A 15. No.
All right. We're going to go through it in the order of the party. So, Kemek, you're sort of near the front. What do you want to do? Spencer.
Sorry about that. Yes, I will definitely take a good swing at it with my hand axe.
All right, awesome. You rush in, engage it. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Total would be 11.
Okay, it's a little quick for you. It kind of scuttles to the side, and your axe hits the dirt. Baron
Makes sense.
Sissy-Fell.
I'll toss a dagger at the thing
Okay.
from a safe distance, of course.
Okay.
Let's see. Do you still get like a bonus to hit from your dexterity? Is that right?
Yes, you do.
And with the 16 dexterity, what is that?
2.
Plus 2.
Plus 2.
Plus 2? So 15.
You hit.
Excellent. And then do you get bonus to damage for dexterity or no?
No.
Okay, so 2 damage.
Awesome. You heard it, but it doesn't really stick in like you were hoping. Collop stands there with his torch and holds the torch out between you and the beast, and his knees knocked together.
Well done, Caleb.
Hearthstone, what do you want to do?
Yes, if I can move past the first 2 ranks, I would like to draw my mace and club this beast.
Sure, no problem. You just kind
All
of
right.
pull your way, shoulder past Collop, who's not much of an impediment.
And say a prayer to the gods. Bless my strike. Oh no, 2. Looks like I tied you, Hobbs.
I was
That's
gonna say which gods specifically?
The one that isn't with him.
All right, Braden, what do you want to do?
Can I move someplace where I could throw my spear?
Yeah, you can. They are engaged in combat, though, so don't roll a 1.
Okay.
and if you do lie about it.
13.
You hit. Huzzah!
Yay! A massive 2 points of damage.
All right. Kind of lets out a hiss. So you've heard it pretty good. Gurok.
All right. I guess there's no chance for a flanking attack here.
Or a backstab. No, it's pretty aware of you guys.
Okay. In that case, I give it a whack with my two-handed sword if I can reach it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you use your movement, I'll let you do it. You kind of get around it. It's a pretty big cave, so not a problem.
Okay. Here comes the die roll. And I rolled a 21 with my bonus.
Holy crap! Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that hits very nicely. And then here comes a D10. Let's roll the D10. And that's 11 points of damage. Curse splat.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Crunch. Gurok turns it into a crab kebab.
Well played.
My prayers were answered, just not for me personally.
How common.
All right. So that's the only one you see at the moment.
With that meta warning from the GM, Rengrim will shift around. Be careful, boys. There could be more.
Maybe that 10-foot pole would be put to good use, tapping around here and seeing if we can get these things to erupt at a distance.
All right. Who's tapping with the 10-foot pole or a spear or whatever?
Rengrim will. That's fine.
Okay. Roll a d6, Rengrim.
It's only when I'm surprised that they show up.
Yes.
I like it. That's a good rule, too. Here we go. We got another one.
All right. Well, this time you are not surprised because you're, cautious and stuff like that. These things are pretty well camouflaged. So another one does erupt out of the sand or out of the gravel. And you hear some scuttling noises coming from the cave to the north. All right. Initiative for the party. Baron Sissy Fell, you want to roll a d6?
I do. 6.
You get it. You go first. Okay.
You're welcome, everyone. I've done my
Rengrim.
part. Finish it.
Rengrim, you are first.
2. I
Awesome.
gotta change dice.
All right. Next is Kemek.
All right. I got a natural 20 this time.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
On the hit, yeah.
You get to roll your damage dice. Damage dice
And
twice, but your strength bonus, if you have one, only once.
Okay, so first roll's a 6, second roll is a 5, and a 1 is 12.
All right, you just crushed that thing. Excellent
Look at that.
job.
Ed, I'll draw my rapier.
Okay.
Enough of this dagger nonsense, and I'll recover my dagger from the corpse of the dead crab.
Okay. You see that there are 3 more of these big crabs scuttling in from the north. They use the rest of their movement to enter the north tunnel, but you can see them now.
All right. Run up there to start to form a shield wall with my spear.
Okay.
Even if the others don't, they obviously don't know the way it's done, but that's all right.
No
And
problem.
I have no shield, and other than
Use
that,
your body then.
Kemek, do you join Rengrim in that tunnel to kind of block their access into the cave that you're in?
If he doesn't, I certainly will. I'm armored with a shield.
Okay. All right. Victor moves up next to Rengrim, and they block the 10-foot wide tunnel so the crabs can't enter the room. And now you're mano a mano with some crabs. Only you two guys can reach them for now, though. Spencer's right behind the cleric.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cleric, roll a d6 initiative between you and the crabs.
2.
All right, I got a 5. What's your armor class there, Victor?
5.
All right. That looks like a hit. Oh boy, my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
You take 2 points of damage as this thing chomps on you with its nasty claws.
Is he kind of locked on to me? Like, am I fearing that he's just going to damage me every turn?
No, I didn't roll high enough for that. Now if you roll the crit,
yeah,
that could be a thing.
Right.
All right. Rengrim, you are just barely missed. That was a close one.
Thanks for your shield, Victor.
Yes. Let us concentrate our blows on one.
Thanks for your shield, Victor.
All right, Victor.
Thanks for being a shield, Victor.
Go ahead and roll.
It is my shield of faith.
Both of us, or
yeah,
my
it's your
die
it's your
keeps flying off.
All
We
right,
get
so
12.
Okay, a 12 misses, barely.
Son of a
11.
biscuit.
Yeah, I missed with an 11 then.
One good whiff deserves another.
All right, these crabs take a chomp at you again. Cleric is missed. And you are widely missed. Rengrim, go ahead and swing back at him. A little back and forth here.
6.
All right,
13
that hits.
for 6 damage.
You kill one.
Nice.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Seafood's back on the menu.
All right, and then let's
Sure,
see.
the
Next
cook will
combat
be-
round.
will be
Anybody want to try to throw a missile weapon in here, like a dagger or something? Now they're engaged in melee, so if you roll a 1, you'll hit one of your companions.
I'll throw a dagger in
This
there.
Not
Seems
the
like
poison
the
one,
kind of
please.
thing I would do.
It's sling time.
Spencer,
All
do
right.
you have a ranged weapon you want to fire?
Yeah, it sounds like I can't get in there now, so I'll throw a hand axe.
Okay, great. Steve, what'd you roll?
I haven't rolled yet.
I get an 18 with my
I
sling.
rolled an 11.
All right, the 11
Same.
misses, the 18 hits with the sling.
4 points of damage.
All right,
Awesome.
you wound 1. Spencer, go ahead and roll an attack.
I got the 18 to hit as well. I got a 3-4 with the strength. No, there's no strength, so 3.
All right, you guys kill the other one that was on Rengrim, but there's one left that will close.
Gurok, take a shot.
Sure.
Okay. He fires with his longbow. Here we go. And I roll a. Hold on 1 second. What did I roll here? I roll 11.
All right, you miss. The last crab moves in. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be Rengrim. 4, 5, 6. The cleric. It is Rengrim. And that just kind of glances off of you, that plate armor, that pesky plate armor. Just keeps saving your hide.
Let's go, beast. Initiative.
Thank you, Rangrim.
Just,
The
go
gods
ahead,
will not-
just go ahead and roll the hit. We'll just go back and forth. Make it easy. Quick
Ooh, a
back.
natural 20 this time.
Woohoo!
Hey, Rengrim, I got a
All right.
2
Bob.
and then
I
a
didn't
4.
even take 20 rounds. That was fast.
So,
That crab has it
11.
coming.
All right, you kill it.
Yes.
Nice.
Switch to the red die.
Awesome.
Well, that went from 0 to 100 really quickly.
Escalated quickly, didn't it?
All right, so you've killed 10 of the man-eating crabs, and it's quiet now. Seems pretty quiet.
Holy shit. Holy darn, we killed 10 of these?
5.
Do they look edible? Ed?
They might be. They look crab-like. Do you want to put one in a bag for later, Sissy Fell?
Yeah, I think I think the claws will probably be the best part. So we'll chop off the claws, or I'll chop off the claws and throw them in a bag to bring back.
You do realize that many creatures underground hunt by smell.
Yep, that's why I hand it to Caleb.
I let Templeton and his buddy feed on some.
Did we take any damage in that combat?
We? No, I.
The
No,
cleric
it was
did.
no we.
The cleric. How are you doing in hit points?
Oh, I feel fine. I've never felt better.
Mainly a flesh wound.
Cleric of the Everflame.
I just tie a little tourniquet around my leg where he clamped on me and tie it tightly. I'll be fine.
The combat power of this group is fantastic. Gurak also takes some claws with him too.
Okay.
I recover my spear.
What kind of, they have like leech-like faces? Do we see like anything in here that they might have been eating? Bones, you said, or anything?
There were 2 backpacks, he said.
Yeah, the backpacks.
You find kind of in the adjoining tunnel where part of a dead rat has been dragged and sort of finished off. There's been some pretty good eat-ins down here lately with these guys marching through the rat warrens and just killing rats by the dozens. So it looks like they've been going in there and pulling out some of those rats to feast on.
Nothing else in the backpacks?
Oh, in the backpacks, you look around. You find an empty water flask. You do find 1 flask of oil, like lantern oil.
Hey. I'll hand that to, wait, who was it who wanted that? That was Gurak? I'll hand Gurak the oil flask.
You find
Thank
a banged up but functional regular lantern.
There we go. You've been upgraded, Caleb.
But you got to give the oil to him, too. Otherwise, it's not going to do much.
And then there's a small pouch that has 13 copper and 6 silver in it.
13 copper, 6 silver. Okay. Who wants to keep track of the loot?
I'll keep track of it.
All right. And then, is there any oil in that lantern? Can we light it?
Not enough for it to stay lit for very long. You'll have to expend your flask of oil to get it going.
Okay.
Is the backpack usable? That you could have our pack bearer take it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them.
Wow, he's been upgraded from torchbearer to packbearer?
Oh, he agreed to that. He agreed to that initially.
He did. No, it's great. It's a good place for him to put the crab claws. So,
They're nice.
I'll recover my hand axe.
Okay.
yeah, and I'll pick up my dagger.
Hey, when you pick up your hand axe, dwarf, you see
Yes.
you know that amongst the silt and the kind of gravel of the cave, you see some small humanoid footprints in here.
Interesting. Is the cave a dead end, or does the passage continue?
Continues to the north. That's where those crabs kind of came out of once they heard the sound of the fighting. It seemed to attract them.
Okay, I will mention there's over here. Looks like we might have some company.
Where do the tracks lead? Do they go up into the other room or like into a wall or?
It looked like they move through this room but skirt the very edge of the wall. They are purposely keeping to the edges. And then
Nice.
up to the north, and then also exit back to the way that you kind of came. Like they are coming and going throughout these caves with some regularity.
The Baron will examine them. Are they is it somebody who's wearing shoes? Or are they like clawed footprints? What do they look like?
They're like small humanoid clawed footprints, and they're only about this long.
Do I know of anything that would leave such things in my experience? Goblins, perhaps?
Little
Leprechauns.
small goblins,
Kobolds.
Kobolds, perhaps?
kobolds, maybe.
Yeah. All
Are
right.
they dog printed kobolds or lizard printed? I'm just curious.
They're dog. This is real D&D.
That's right.
That's right.
They're dogs.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yep.
All right.
All my orcs have pig faces, so hey.
Excellent.
I'm in the right game.
Yeah.
I need to show you my pig-faced orc minis collection. I have a whole bunch of them from Otherworld
Those
minis.
are
those are
priceless.
Nice.
If you gentlemen don't mind, I'm just going to step out for a second and get a glass of wine, which will help me get into character. Keep going.
I thought he was role playing.
He kind of never stops role playing.
No one knows who he's really.
Good.
All right, so what do you guys think? You want to kind of get back in your order? Do you want to continue to the north here, or you want to turn back around and take that other main passage now, or what do you want to do?
I say to the north.
Yeah, Rengrim heads north.
To the north.
Yes, well, we
The
can
north,
see
the north, the north.
All right. You head 30 feet down the passage to the north, and then in classic D&D cavern crawl manner, there's another V intersection. There's a 10-foot wide tunnel that goes to the west, and then a 10-foot wide tunnel that continues to the north.
Could we do a listen check to see what we hear from down these corridors?
Sure. You want to have Gurok listen?
Sure.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
It's only D6, and I get a 5.
Okay.
Nice. Nope.
Let me just double check something here real quick like.
I was going to say, do we see the footprints?
Yeah, you do. Let's see here. You just look ahead. Sorry, I just have to check my notes real quick.
Inexcusable.
I know. It's horrible.
What kind of DM uses notes, for God's sakes?
All right,
Uh,
I've returned.
yeah, the footprints look like they're mostly they're moving through. Well, they're avoiding the north passage here, and they're taking the west passage.
So these guys avoided the clawmen, so perhaps they're avoiding something to the north. Let us follow them to the west.
well said.
That sounds good. Humanoids probably means better treasure, my friends. Most creatures intelligent creatures like to hoard shiny things.
All right. Okay, it opens up into another cave. The cave is another 30 by 30 foot. Like on the north side, there's another tunnel exiting that cave. You can see a light flickering from that direction, like perhaps a campfire kind of looks like.
Oh,
And scattered about the gravel of this cave, you see the cleaned and cracked bones of a large dog, like a hunting.
That was like 30 feet west. I was holding my cat, and I forgot I was mapping.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm sorry.
So this branch went 30 feet west and then opened out into a 30 by 30 cave. And in the north side of the cave, there's a 10-foot wide tunnel that continues on. It looks like there's another cave shortly after that, and there's some kind of like campfire or torchlight flickering from that direction.
That's probably where they are. Is there anything else going on in this cave?
There's some bones scattered around. You can see the skull of a large hunting dog, and looks like the bones are completely cleaned of all flesh, and some of them are kind of cracked open and that sort of thing.
Rock says that looks like Kip's cousin.
Kip isn't a hunting dog.
I miss my dog.
can we inspect without getting too close those bones to see if they are giving off that glow that they spoke of earlier?
Good thinking. Good thinking, Victor.
I do that with my holy symbol forcefully presented.
Okay. The bones that are in this cavern are not sparkling with that. It's really subtle. You have to know to look for it, but it's kind of like those little pinpoints of silver light you sometimes see if you stand up too fast.
Mhm.
You just kind of wink in and out, and it's sort of a silver blue light. That's a sign that necromantic energy has gathered and sort of imbued something that's in an area. And that only really happens in a place where just a boatload of necromancy has been cast for a really long time.
Mhm.
Like these caves, for instance.
Do the bones seem interesting? Do they have like small teeth marks on them, or big teeth marks, like ones with canines?
Something is
Why not?
definitely not on them. It looks like a mixture, actually. You see some, it looks like signs that the crabs have been at these things, but then it looks like maybe some rats have gnawed on them too.
Sisyphus, you seem a little light of foot. Do you want to go up there and see what is around that campfire?
That's Baron Fell to you, but I'm happy to.
Sissy pants.
Be prepared to come if I cry for help. I will move with a silence that belies my foppish nature.
All right. I'll have to look it up, but I think you have like a 20% move silently or something.
Oh, you wish it was 20%.
This is BX.
Yeah, it is 20%.
It is. Well done.
Should I roll it?
Yeah, I'll let you roll it. That's part of the fun. I'm fine if you meta it a little bit. You're gonna think you're quiet, but the player will know differently.
Of course. All right, blue is high. 52.
Awesome. Plus rolling dice is fun, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So you sneak up and you peer into the next tunnel. It only goes about 30 feet and then enters into a small cave. And looks like there's a couple of simple hide tents set up in here. Looks like they've used some scrub wood and that sort of thing to affix whatever the bundles of hide they've been carrying with them. There's a little campfire there, and it looks like a hunting camp. You see that they have crabs hanging up, and rats and things around here, and there's a pot on the fire, and you see that there are 7 kobolds in there, kind of sitting around talking. One of them looks like on his little dog face, he's got some white clay kind of drawn.
Okay, I'll creep back to my friends then.
Okay.
Quiet as a mouse.
Okay, roll a d6 for me.
3.
All right, you're fine.
All right. I'll say 7 tiny dog-faced people are up there.
I'm startled. I stabbed whoever said that.
Region.
Just kidding. Just saying.
I think they might be kobolds. I've heard of them, but rumors only. And they seem to have a hunting party. They're sitting around the fire cooking. I think you could take them by surprise.
Was there any other exits?
Was there an exit on the opposite side?
You did see a very narrow, 5-foot wide tunnel on the north side of that small cavern.
Yes. There's a small exit on the other side.
Gurak tells the group, I never like to fight fair. Do you guys want to take them on in their camp, or do you want to lead them into an ambush in the cavern?
I don't know. I had a funny quip, but I forgot it already.
Let them die where they lay.
I've heard they hate dwarves.
Well, that's not uncommon.
It seems the prey
They
has found.
just
Everyone
Nectar.
hates dwarves.
Go ahead,
hate
Spencer.
the taste of the cold steel. That's all it is. Let's go.
All right.
Awesome.
The
So
prey will fight the predator. I'll follow him down.
All right. So Kimmick strides forward, dwarf-like, ready to kill pesky, barky kobolds. And I guess Rengrim's right there with him?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
I'll look back at the cleric to see if Victor is going to be my shield mate again.
Oh, absolutely. Are we all going?
Of course.
Let us do this then.
I can't
we'll
run
even give
faster
them a
than them.
chance. Perhaps give them a chance to surrender.
Awesome. So are you going to kind of get situated and then try to get a surprise round by rushing in there as the whole party and try to engage as many as you can?
If we could.
Affirmative.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You guys rush in. You grab a surprise round on them. We'll go around. Everybody will get an attack. You can tell me who specifically you want to get. You've got 6 regular kobolds and 1 guy with paint on his face. Rengrim, what do you want to do?
I'm going straight for the guy with paint. I think he's a leader of some sort.
Okay.
Surely the rest will flee if we can destroy this. Oh, wrong die. Here we go. Red die again. Oh, a 14. That'd be 15.
That hits.
All right, for 4 points.
All right, you go in, and what kind of weapon are you swinging?
I have a spear.
All right, so you just got this poor dog guy, and he's like, slump.
Do you choose to surrender? As he's kicking off my spear.
He surrendered forever.
Motionless surrender, yeah.
All right, Victor Hearthstone.
Yes. Let's see. Ooh, 17 for 2 damage.
All right, you kill one because they're that tough. Baron Sissy fell.
From the entrance to the cave, I throw a dagger into one.
Okay.
8.
Okay, you miss.
Clatter. Haha.
Spencer, the dwarf. Kimmick.
All right. Giving it a swing with a hand axe, it's 11 total.
All right, you just missed.
Gurak.
All right, Gurak takes a whipping strike with his two-handed sword and rolls a 9.
Gurak misses.
This is our night.
Lower,
Right.
lower, Gurak, lower.
Brayden.
I throw my spear.
Okay,
Ooh, a 6. That's not going to work.
all right, you miss. You want to roll for Templeton?
Sure. I'll send Templeton in. And he obviously is much better fighter than me. He rolls a 14.
Okay, he hits. He does a D3.
A massive 1.
Okay, wound one. So you
But they have to make a
Gurak.
saving throw.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about that too much. He's not going to be
Speaking of
around
which,
very long.
how,
Good try, Tom. Good try.
isn't
I would've
Gurak dying of some
that
horrible
big
disease?
too.
Yeah, something's going on with Gurak.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when it's appropriate.
Same team, Tom.
All right. So 2 of them are dead. One of them's the guy with the face paint. One is wounded, and you have 4 unwounded kobolds. We're gonna.
Ed, what
yeah.
language were they speaking? Were they speaking a language I recognized?
They're speaking some kind of a dog-like yipping noise, kind of a language. Kobold.
I said, I say surrender.
In common.
No, in dog-like yipping, of course.
All right. Excellent. From the rear of the party, see, who do we have at the rear? Gurak is usually in the back. And we've got your hireling, the torchbearer.
Helen, yes.
Two of those crabs scuttle in out of the cave you passed through, kind of hunting you as you've passed through the cave, attracted additionally by the sounds of the combat. One attacks Gurak and misses. One attacks your friend, and amazingly, Kalep is also missed, but he's screaming in terror and flailing with the torch in front of him.
I'll say hit it with the torch.
All right, Victor Hearthstone. Mike, do you want to roll a d6 for party initiative for us?
Yes, I do. 3.
Awesome. You guys got the initiative. Rengrim, what do you do?
Spin around and try and furiously pierce another with my spear.
You going after a
15.
dog? Going after a dog or a crab?
I'm a dog in the front. I'm going to fight the dogs.
Okay.
If that's all right, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
4
yeah.
points of damage.
You kill another one. All right, Victor Hearthstone.
I'm not sure. Does subdual work at all in this version? I mean, can I just grab a hold of a kobold?
You can smack him unconscious if you want to.
That's what I would like to do. Yeah. Smack him unconscious rather than try to kill him. 13 to hit.
That hits.
And it would normally be 5 damage, but if I'm holding back, I'm just trying to.
Yeah. He's out. You knock him cold.
Okay.
Baron Sissy fell.
Let's see. My Calip is being threatened. I don't know. Am I closest to the crab or the kobolds?
Well, you're closest to the crabs because you're kind of in the back. You threw a dagger, and you're kind of in the back of the party next to Cal.
I will stab a crab with my rapier.
Okay.
Oh, actually, a good roll for once. 19.
All right, you hit.
Yahoo!
What does a rapier do?
D6.
3.
All right, you kill a crab.
Ha!
Ha.
I've saved you, Calip.
That's right. Gurak, you've got a crab attacking you.
I have a crab attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I draw down my two-handed sword on it, and I roll a 16.
You got it.
Okay, and rolling for damage, and I get 3 points of damage.
All right, you kill it. All right,
Well played, sir.
next is Braden.
I will now switch to sling and try to help out poor Templeton.
Okay.
Oh, and I got a 4 again.
Oh, dang it. All right, that's
Can I
all.
roll for
fine,
Templeton?
right?
Yeah, you can roll for Templeton.
And he gets a nat 20. I don't know what's going on here.
You've trained him well.
Killer
Right.
rat.
So he does a D3 twice.
3 points of damage.
Okay, he kills a kobold.
Wow.
And he and his
I'm embarrassed.
and he and his friend, the other rat, just sort of dive in for lunch. All right, the last 2 kobolds throw down their weapons and put their little skinny arms up in the air and squeak out at you in sort of a very hard to understand or make out common, surrender, surrender.
All right. Stop, my friend, stop. We're not butchers or barbarians. Well, I don't know. For all I know, Rengrim's a barbarian, but most of us aren't.
Tie them up.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Dwarf, you happen to speak this language of the dark.
Perhaps.
Dwarf, I'll let you. What's your intelligence?
It is 10 even.
Okay. So you know Dwarvish and Common pretty much, but you don't really speak any other languages.
Alrighty.
They seem to know a little Common. They you got them tied up and sort of sitting on the floor, and you tie up the unconscious one too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Anything else in their camp besides the spoils of hunting?
You see that they've got a couple crude tents. They have some blankets. There's an iron bowl, some cups, tin cups. There's one really big water skin. It looks like their hunting party's water skin. There's some coils of rope, some packs. Next to the rope is sort of a crude metal hooked grapple. They have a couple packs that are jammed full of stuff, like gear, adventuring gear for them.
Mm-hmm.
If no one else is interested, I'll go through one of the packs.
Okay. You find that they have some iron spikes, a hammer. They've got 9 torches in there, a tinderbox, and they have 4 gold, 21 silver, and 56 copper.
Yes, we need that for the defense of the city, my friends.
Exactly. Well put, Baron.
I'll ask the one of the survivors. Where are you from? How did you get here?
Well, we came in through the cave. We're from the woods.
Okay. We are going to spare your lives, but you must return to the woods and not bother the people of this city.
Okay.
Collect your things, all this crap, as I like to call it, and get out of here.
All right.
When Baron says that, Gurak strides forward and grabs the kobold and says, "You're not going anywhere without telling us what you know of these caves."
Oh, yes, that part too. Yes, sorry.
Say, "If you don't speak, I'll give you a second mouth, little one."
Ah.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot. He's half something. It's not good. You should do what he says.
Correct. Do you speak Orcish?
I do indeed. Snarl it at the kobold.
Okay. It speaks back to you in Orcish. It says, "What are you doing on this side of the caves, Orc?"
I tell the kobold that it's none of his business what we're doing. We just finished killing his comrades, and I'm about to kill him too if he doesn't tell us what he knows of the cave system.
It says, oh, great master, clever Orc who has fooled the humans into believing that he is their friend. North of here, there are some very dangerous, the last of the caves in this section, and there are some dangerous spiders in that section. To the east are the sewers and different pools of water we've seen there. That's where we refill our water supply. And there are many rats and crabs to be hunted in these caves. This is good food for our people. He says, "Oh, generous, clever, masterful Orc, please tell your brothers in the West Cave that we would like to continue trading with you, and please stop killing us."
Interesting.
Okay, so this is what the kobold relates to Gurak, and then during the interrogation, Gurak relates everything that he just heard back to the party. The fact that there's spiders north of us, more rats and crabs in the sewer system apparently, and a war band of orcs in the western tunnels.
All right, so the kobolds, if you let them, will gather up. Each one of them will grab a pack. They'll stuff into some bags as much rat meat and crab as they can manage to carry. They'll abandon their tents and most of the rest of their gear, and then they're going to make a run for it.
Gurak asks one last question of the kobold captive, and he checked to see if the kobold knows if the spiders north of this cavern are poisonous or not.
No, not poisonous. Mighty Orc, clever Orc will kill them easily.
Okay. Gurak turns around and says, "You know what? I think that these kobolds have a little bit more to do for us before we let them go."
Right?
If we are going to, I think that, given the dangers that we could possibly face, they could be good fodder for us.
No, we have promised them their freedom. We must let them go. The gods will not shine upon us if we break our vow.
I'm about to give you your freedom of your life, cleric.
Excuse me, sir. I pull out my mace. Would you like to make that threat a reality?
Now, my friends, please. Let's not.
While you guys are engaged in your back and forth, leaning in and kind of posturing, the three kobolds run for it.
That's their one to do.
Well, yeah, they heard about you using them as cannon fodder. They're out of there.
All right. Please. We must not argue among ourselves.
Can we scrap together any bits of armor for were they wearing any sorts of armor? The ones that we killed? Can we scrap together anything for our torchbearer?
For Caliph?
Sure. You wanna try to cut the lacings of some cobalt padded leather flea-infested armor and sort of
improvise.
Yeah.
Improvise.
Chest plate anyway,
Poor Cobblepot.
He doesn't look too happy, but he's like, okay. So you pile it. He gets 1 point of armor basically from
all
this.
right.
Fantastic.
You look great.
Thank you, my lord. He bows.
All right.
So, out of character, just for a moment, we don't have anything to stop poison. So I think taking on the spiders would be really dangerous for us. If any of us were to get hit and fail a save. Rats and crabs, not too much of a challenge for the group. We could possibly take on the orcs. That's my opinion.
Well, I do have this instructions on how to produce some benefits against poison. We have a campfire here. Would I be able to produce something?
You think so?
So if you want to spend a little time, I could try to brew a potion that would help protect us against the poison.
Yep, it'll last you. It's not very reliable since these aren't real potions. They're what I call like an herbal brew. Something like this will last you 1 plus 1d4 combat rounds.
All right. Well, I mean, it's up to the group. I mean, do you guys want to take on a challenge in giant spiders?
Well, as much as I dislike spiders and most other things, the spiders are a problem that are not going to get worse or better regardless of what we do. I'm curious why there are orcs under our city. Seems like
if the spider hunts us like the crabs, then we will be at a disadvantage. It might be best to prepare for it.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm thinking if we must, I would love to understand the scope of this orc encampment and bring that information back.
And we have the perfect spy, don't we?
That's true.
Shrugs and says, I have no compulsion about killing orcs. Besides, they're likely to have much more valuable loot than these giant spiders.
The spiders are not the priority.
Right, so the kobold had mentioned something about the west caves, a west cave entrance, which is not necessarily where you guys are at.
Mm-hmm.
The implication there is that there are other entrances to the caves under the city, and this one is somewhere around the west side of the city, I would guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So maybe some exploration over there would be in order.
Well, that's some really good information, spoon-feeding DM. You should have let us wander into the western wastes and run into a dragon.
Well timed.
I'm always happy to help.
No west to
We
go.
need all the
I
help we
didn't
can
know if
get.
I was messing it up when you said western. I was like, oh, my map must be all the way off then.
Different entrance.
When
All
the
right.
kobolds fled, did they flee out the small entrance, or did they come out the way we had come into the caves?
Oh, they didn't go through the small entrance. No, they
they
came out the way that you came into these caves.
Okay.
They followed the backtrack.
They did. Okay.
Okay, well, given the fact we don't know where the western entrance is to the catacombs yet, what say we allow the druid to concoct his potion antidote and try to take on those giant spiders?
All right. Well,
Yes.
the torches are starting to flicker, so you're going to need to take a 10-minute rest anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'll mark off a torch on my sheet.
And relight a torch for Calip. And you'll go through part of your rations, and you'll drink some of your water that you have in your flask. Usually I'm tracking that as basically a sixth of your day's rations is burned up every 1 hour rest, and a quarter of your water flask is burned up at every hour rest, okay? So you're down a little bit, not enough to worry about yet. And Braden is able to concoct his brew, no problem. So you're able to make 3 of those.
3 of those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we should probably... No, this is strategy here. Do we want to give it to the people who are most likely to get hit, or the people who are going to be doing the hand-to-hand combat?
Probably the hand-to-hand combat. We should give it to the tanks. Well, I'll do this in character. Spiders, they're not known for their intelligence. The moment they see us, they're probably going to rush us. I say we give the potions to our most heavily armed companions, and if possible, try to lure these spiders into a trap. I'd like to give us the best chances of killing them as quickly as possible.
So maybe the cleric, the fighter, and the half-orc, because the dwarf has really good saving throw against poison already.
I think that my hope is that we don't have anybody hit by these things. If they are, though, it could be quite deadly. Even a small spider. I had this spider bite that was so painful. I'm telling you, it was horrible. So imagine
That's
a spider
lice.
even bigger.
That's lice.
Has anyone ever said that you're a sissy, Baron?
Well, it's my name, but you mean in a positive way? Of course, yes, of course.
Ed,
But,
sorry.
Good, Tom.
No,
Ed, are these potions that you have before, like to protect you, or is it something you drink after you got poisoned?
No, you drink it, and it gives you 1 point of armor class, and it gives you immunity to poison for 1 combat round plus 1d4.
Gotcha. So something you have to do before.
Yeah, and I will
Yes,
not
I think
be revealing how when it wears off.
I think our front line should have the potions or the tinctures or whatever you want to call them, and if they fall, then we run. That's my.
Spencer, do you want?
Wow, how fantastic of a plan could you have there?
Spencer,
Thank you.
And I imagine we won't really be able to tell whether the potion is in effect or not, which is always nice for the front line.
Well, I think you're supposed to develop scales. So if you have no scales, it's not in effect.
Oh, I see.
All right.
We
So
also have 3 fresh meals for these spiders.
Gurak says, what do you guys feel about cooking these spiders in a fire trap?
I like that idea. And if you remember, Gorak, from our last time in here, we collected a couple of large kind of rat trap type things, sort of bear traps that we could also lay in front of us.
We did indeed, Baron. That's a great idea. So traps first, a wall of fire past the traps, and then our frontline fighters.
As your nature priest, I would just like to point out that the spiders won't necessarily come across the ground.
Well, they have legs.
And they take
True,
them
but
across.
they can also climb on walls.
Oh, I believe I get the point. Yes.
Well, that's a really good point, but we have to take. We might as well try.
Yeah.
Okay, so who are the 3 up front?
We've got Rengrim.
Oh,
and
why not?
Certainly.
And then who else wants to be in front?
I have a quick question, Ed.
I'll take the front.
If Gurak were to hang out by the side, I'm assuming that we're going to try to create a choke point on a tunnel. If you were to hang out to the side of the frontline fighters, could he perhaps pull off a backstab on a spider as they hit the front line, or is that not possible?
It's always possible, depending on whether they can see you or not, but you cannot backstab with a 2-handed sword. I'll just throw that out there.
Okay, all right.
Also depends on whether they're on the ground or the wall or the ceiling, I imagine.
Yeah, how well you can reach them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Is everyone else not a frontline equipped with some sort of missile weapon?
I have my daggers.
I have my sling.
Grok has a bow.
Gurak has a bow.
How do you draw out spiders?
Carefully.
Dead bodies, fire.
Here, spider.
They're going to run from fire,
Oh,
right?
dead kobolds.
Exactly.
Um,
Lure them out with fresh meat.
Or we could use my rats if you want. I could have them try to stay away from the webs, but try to lure them out.
That would be great. Live food, rats, they're common. It's like fishing with
bait.
common bait.
If it gets stuck in the web, though, you are going to be out of familiar. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to cast
Oh,
my
sorry.
I'm going to cast my speak with animals just so I make it very clear that I don't want them to endanger themselves, but just to try to lure out the spiders and
Perfect.
avoid the webs.
And we'll do the best that we can.
Okay. You're going to have to do a little improvisation. You're not even sure what you're heading into yet, so we'll just have to explore and see, right? All right. If you peer through that 5-foot opening, it kind of it turns into sort of a snaking northward tunnel that moves 5 feet wide, and then for another 30 feet, maybe it's 10 feet wide, and then after a ways, it becomes 5 feet wide again, and it just kind of makes an continual S shape heading north. And as you follow it, after about 50 feet, there's wispy strands of web kind of gossamering across the tunnel, and mostly attached onto the tunnel walls in spots.
Ed,
Yeah?
I cast Fireball.
Perfect.
All right.
Now we roll off-roll the characters.
Yeah.
Brayden, do you want to send your rats ahead?
I will.
Okay.
I have that potion in
All
my
right,
sheet hand, by the
so
way.
Templeton nods and scampers ahead, goes down the tunnel, and kind of, it's an S kind of thing. So very quickly, he's out of sight with his friend.
So
And-
we want to set up so we're in a 10-foot area, so we have more attacks, and they would have to come through a 5-foot area, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's where we'll be, So
Okay.
to try and choke point them, like Garrick mentioned.
Okay. After maybe 30 seconds, you hear the frantic panic squeals of rats
Coming or
coming from that
Come on,
direction.
Templeton. Come on, boy. You can do it.
I don't think this is
How
what they
high
meant
is
by.
the ceiling?
One of the rats goes silent with a "Ah!" and you hear a Templeton noise going, "Oh my God!"
I don't think this is what they meant by friends with benefits.
in rat speech. But he's not getting any closer. It's not like he's returning.
Well, my friends, it looks like they've been caught. So if we want to attack, we'll maybe get them before they devour my rats.
Oh yes, we should definitely join them. Charge.
Oh no, it seems the trap has been sprung on the trappers and rush forward.
All right. All right, you come to a place where the tunnel opens up and there's a hole in the ceiling of the tunnel. The tunnel is about 20 feet wide. And at the very end of the tunnel, there is a metal door. And above the door is the stone carving of the face of the Wraith Lord. His severe looking, kind of hawk-nosed features. He's got kind of a armored helm, kind of almost like Sauron-like, but with his face revealed, this hawk nose and this long kind of braided goatee, almost like an Egyptian beard coming out of the statue. And he's like leering down over the entrance of this like elaborate looking metal door that's got a lock in the center and a door handle there. But in the ceiling, there's that hole, and there's webs all in this room. And there is a pretty good-sized spider that is squaring off with Templeton, who's caught up in some webs and doing his best to try to free himself. And then there's another one that's just dragging what's left of the other rat up through the hole into the ceiling. Okay, it's initiative, boys. Who's rolling?
I think we're on Baron Fell, right? No?
I rolled the first time. Maybe
And I've already rolled.
Urok, you want to roll?
Yep, sure. Okay, rolling my d6, and I get a 6.
Awesome.
Yay!
Well
you guys
done.
get to go
Hey.
first. Rengrim, let's see, Kimmick, and Victor are in the front and able to engage these things. We'll start off with Rengrim. What do you do?
Be with about 10 feet away and stabbing with my spear.
Okay.
At the spider trying to kill his rat.
Okay.
Ooh, fell. Ooh, 8.
Excellent. That misses.
Well, then how is that excellent?
Yeah.
Excellent for me. Kimmick, Go ahead.
All right, here we go. Dropped it. Hold on. Okay, total roll is 15 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
All right. Damage total 2 plus 1 strength is 3.
Okay, you wound it. All right, next would be Victor Hearthstone.
I'm going to drink my potion. May I still attack this round?
Yes, you can.
I already forgot the potion.
I love it.
Benjamin.
A 9 with the armor class of 10, which is probably not going to hit.
Okay, you miss. 1, 2, 3 on Rengrim. 4. Means 1, 2 on Rengrim. 3, 4 on Kimmick, and 5, 6 on Victor Hearthstone.
Hey, Ed,
Yeah.
can those of us in the back throw or project weapon fire at the
Oh
rat?
yeah. I
that's
forgot.
retreating?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fel. Throw your daggers and shoot your spears and laser beams and stuff.
Yes, I
Sling
fire
bullets.
my blaster at the one that's retreating up into the ceiling.
Okay.
5.
Okay, you miss.
Thank you.
I'm slinging at the one menacing Templeton. I got a 15.
That hit.
Two points of damage.
All right, awesome. And let's see, who else do we have? Gurak.
Can I attack in melee, or am I blocked off?
You're ranged
Okay.
weaponing it.
Sure. I'll take a shot at the wounded spider.
Okay.
And I rolled a 17.
You hit.
And I roll a d6.
Yep.
Okay. And do I add my dexterity bonus to damage?
No.
I roll a 5.
Okay, you kill it.
Whoa!
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice.
Not bad. Orc.
How Gurek does it.
Its little legs curl into itself. It's
To the up part.
pretty good spider. Pretty large spider.
I mean, to be fair, hitting things is not my idiom. So, just saying.
All right. So the other one is retreated with your dead rat up into the ceiling, and Braden, we're out of combat. You can cut free Templeton.
Excellent. I will do that.
Okay. He scolds you in rat. Sweet.
Well, you were supposed to run faster.
We'll light a couple more torches, Ed, so we can burn these webs away.
All right, no problem. They don't burn very well. They just kind of smolder, but they do kind of melt away when the torchlight kind of gets through them and stuff like that. It's a little smoky, but not horrible. It's almost like the smoke's being drawn up through that hole in the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
May I
Almost like
suggest
it goes all the way to the surface.
that whatever we do at this point, someone is always keeping an eye above us in that tunnel.
All right.
Nominate someone now who has a very good chance of noticing something.
Well, you completely freaked me out. I'll look up. That's fine.
All right. So Baron is on constant watch above us.
Collip tries to be helpful and says, I'll watch the way out.
Thank you.
Good idea.
All up
Thanks,
for
Mike.
a drunk women abuser is unbelievably brave.
Hey,
But no,
Donovan,
he wet himself a long time ago. He's just, trying to soldier on through. You can tell he's really badly shaken.
Yeah, not like us.
so what do you hardy adventurers know of this Wraith King?
A myth.
Just he's
Mm.
evil, and Our Lady, the half-elven queen, dispatched him many years ago, centuries ago.
Do you want me to, Mike, Meta, do you want me to relate to you information that pretty much everybody would know?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So every so often, this comet appears in the sky, and it heralds the rise of the next necromaster of Lang. And so out of the Undercity, underneath the great capital of Pia Tomb of this empire far to the east, which is sort of like Persia, this lich comes out and commands his armies to march forth and to conquer the world. And the Necrogarchy's gaze has been cast to the kingdoms of the east for many, many centuries, But rumor has it that they have succeeded in conquering everything to the east, and now they are turning their gaze to the kingdoms to the west. So 300 years ago, they embarked on their very first campaign into the west, and 3 of the captains of the city were each imbued with necromantic power, and they were each put at the head of their own army. And one of these was a guy named Pazarun Sin, who was the commander of the army of the north for the Necrogarchy of Lang. And him and his evil legions marched through the lost kingdoms of Mithril, the ruins of the Dwarven kingdoms, and the Goblin Spite Mountains, and invaded the north. And they conquered this area of the north. Bolgrad became his capital. He razed the original wooden city with a wooden palisade to the ground, and used his war chest to rebuild a city after the fashion of the kingdoms of the south, with more of a typical stone castle and fortress and stone walls and stuff like that. Much better fortification than anybody really has in this part of the world, okay? And he ruled over what he declared as the kingdom of Asmergar, which was what is now Osvik, the kingdom of Herader to the west, and the kingdom of Morgwyn to the east. He commanded all of that land for about 150 years. Eventually, part of the thing that he did is originally there was one group of druids in the north. They were sort of the original priests of this area, and they were the ragged cloak druids who are in tune with nature and
Yay!
Braden's guy. Now, the Wraith King seduced some of the druids to give up their affinity with nature and to cast their gaze to the stars and to build these big astrological monuments, these henges, as they worshipped him in order to tap into an even darker and greater magic that he would instruct them in. And they became the white-clad druids of the henge. And the druids of the henge acted as his priests all throughout his reign while he hunted down what was left of the ragged cloak druids and reigned in kind of a reign of terror in this area. Eventually, Queen Garrod Half-Elven and the ragged cloak druids, what were left of them, were able to fight his army or him at this place called the Battle of the Spearmark and slew his corporeal body, okay? They captured some artifacts of his, and Queen Garrod and the ragged cloak druids hid them away to try to keep the druids of the henge from bringing him back, because that apparently is a thing. There's a prophecy that if they gather together these 3 artifacts, which are a sword, a ring, and a scepter, that they can sacrifice somebody and his spirit will inhabit that sacrificed body and he will resurrect and try to rule again. So he ruled over the city until about 125 years ago when his body was destroyed and the Northmen returned, laid siege to the city, killed all of his followers, and took back over control. And that was during the grandfather of the current king's era. And the current king is Gudbrand the Cruel, who's a Northman king.
That's a creator who knows his world.
And this visage is definitely him. We would recognize it as being.
Oh, yeah. It's like Sauron in The Lord of the Rings. Everybody knows this guy's devices and what he looks like his face.
Okay.
That's his face. You know?
That's him.
Perhaps this is from the past in a treasure house below the city, a vault. See if you can break in, Fell.
Baron Fell may be currently indisposed.
We most certainly will do it then. No, I'm just kidding.
Treasure. I like the sound of treasure, but I'm cowed by what the fences would be between us and that.
My good shield, my good man, and my good spear. Spear, he whistles.
Does the I'm sorry, I've just had my video turned off because I'm eating. I don't think you guys really want to see that.
You want to try to pick the lock on this door?
Yes.
Or
I think I have a 95% chance.
Or you could check it for traps first.
yes,
You want to check it for traps?
and we could also search around for a key.
You could.
I'll let you guys guess. Which is more likely? Which is higher? My chance of finding a trap or my chance of picking a lock?
Same.
Picking a lock.
Bad and worse.
Higher. Ed, I look for traps.
Okay, go ahead and roll. It's fine.
A 34.
Okay, I don't think you find any. Looks safe.
Good. It's safe. It's perfectly safe, guys. Don't worry. I've done this before at home in my sister's bedroom.
What?
Well, she had a diary.
Not touching that one.
I will open the lock.
Okay,
Should we let Spencer look? He can probably.
Spencer, you want to see if you see any traps or danger?
You check the general area, sure.
Go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
6, no.
Perfect.
Before anybody tries to pick the
Totally
trap,
clear. The thief is right. There's nothing wrong.
there's nothing wrong. The hole in the ceiling, does it look like a natural cavern hole, or does it look like something where a giant boulder might come rolling down and squash someone who is standing underneath it?
Which is not me.
You don't see any boulder up there. It
No.
does look web-lined, like it's a passage that the spiders have been using to move around in these caves for some time. You even
Yes.
see kind of hanging up in there other little desiccated carcasses of rats and crabs and maybe a kobold even kind of jammed up against the wall.
My instinct tells me that we are in the heart of a trap, meaning that something goes wrong, something will come down out of that hole besides a spider. Call me cautious, foolish, but I don't think we should attempt to open this lock until we find out what's up there.
My friend, I have
So
told you there is no trap. I have inspected it thoroughly.
Wait. And I give it my honest opinion as well, but you are more concerned about the hole in the ceiling than opening the door with the picture of the Wraith Lord on it, yes?
Yes, meaning that if something goes wrong, something will go terribly wrong. These
They
doors
may
are
be
not
one and
meant
the
to
same.
be tampered with.
All right, well, what do you guys
So-
want to do? Pick
You
the
want to
lock?
climb up there, thief? And
Climb up there?
Open the lock.
I picked the lock.
All right, go ahead and
Hey,
roll.
nowhere near the hole.
94.
Awesome.
It's
You-
unlocked, I say.
You are
Step
sure
back.
that it's unlocked.
I step back from the unlocked door.
Okay. Somebody want to try to open it?
Is it
who
made out of
wants to?
stone or
I turn towards the torchbearer. Gurak turns towards the torchbearer and tells him, "Do your job and open that door, coward."
He looks at
No, let it be me.
Aaron fell.
I halt him. Let it be me. I pull out my holy symbol.
Okay. Amazingly,
Mhm.
when you touch the door, Victor, you didn't hear a click when the wizard tried to use his magic, but when you, the priest, touches the door, you hear a click. And the door just swings open a little on its own as if inviting you to enter.
Told ya.
Ooh, spooky.
Well done, Baron.
Perfectly fine.
Thank you, sir. At least someone appreciates my many talents.
All right. Beyond the door, you see a 40-foot by 40-foot kind of spherical cavern. There's another hole in the ceiling that's kind of coated with webs. There's webs hanging down in billowing sheets all along the walls of the room. And in the center of the room is a sarcophagus of metal that looks like that.
Oh boy.
Ah.
that looks safe?
That's
Jackpot.
really safe, yeah.
That looks valuable.
I don't get any sense of TPK from that coffin whatsoever.
Is
And there's a hole in the ceiling with webs coming out of it above the sarcophagus.
how high is the ceiling?
20 feet.
All right, you guys watch the ceiling. Let's see what we can do with this sarcophagus, Baron Fell. Baron,
Can we close the door
Well-
behind us? Or do we want to spike the door open?
We definitely want to spike that door.
I'll happily spike it. We picked some up from the kobold, so
Okay.
Are we still keeping a guard to keep watch on the first hole where we know there's a spider?
I will keep my eyes on it, my friends.
All right.
How can you watch that and then approach the sarcophagus with me?
It's a conundrum.
I will approach the sarcophagus with you.
There we go.
Yes.
Problem,
That
another
I
problem
probably
solved.
wanted to check for traps, but hey.
Well,
All right. We're gonna old school BX, no disarm trap skill involved, deal with this sarcophagus.
Cool.
While you guys are watching the top, okay? Around the right side of the sarcophagus are 3 latches. At the foot of the sarcophagus, built into the metal on the side, is some kind of a lever. And at the top of the head of the sarcophagus is a brass plate that's fashioned with the face of a skull. At the top and the bottom, there are wavy lines like air or water. On the right-hand side, there's a symbol of a chest. And on the left-hand side, there's the symbol of a potion, like a bottle.
Maybe it rotates.
Are the wavy lines like engraved on the plate with the skull, or they're like something else? Can you show your picture again?
The wavy lines, so there's a circle, skull in the middle. The wavy lines are on the outside around the circle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's wavy lines above the head of the skull, wavy lines at the bottom of the head of the skull. To the right of the head of the skull, there's a symbol of a chest, and to the left of the head of the skull, there's a bottle like a potion bottle.
Are there more
And
wavy
all
lines?
this is engraved. Mhm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, are there more wavy lines in different positions on it, or are they the same number?
There's 4 wavy lines on the top and 3 on the bottom.
And everything you described is engraved in a plaque that's mounted to the top of the sarcophagus?
To the head of the sarcophagus. Like there is a carving of a pile of bones and a skull on the top, but this is just its own kind of a circle, kind of on the head side of the sarcophagus.
Gotcha.
So there's a bunch of 3 levers and another switch, and then this thing, right?
Mm-hmm. There's like a long-handled lever at the foot of it, and then there's 3 kind of pull-down clasps along the side, almost like what you'd have on a trunk if you had a personal trunk to secure the lid of
I
the
see.
trunk.
I think whoever was looking for their death trap, we found it.
So it seems to me that we need to turn this skull, the 4 or the 3, towards the potion or the chest, and then pull this other lever like a one-handed bandit.
What potion? What chest?
They're engraved on the plate. And something we do may make the latches open. Can I turn?
Which is where the treasure is, right? With the
Hopefully.
thing and
Of course, the treasure. Big quote.
Right. All right.
Does the long
That or poison gas,
Not
yeah.
the lieutenant of the Shadow Lord.
lever look like it's is it in the up or the down position towards us, and is there a slot like in the coffin that it would move back and forth on?
It's like it's almost a relief into the side, so it's flush with the side. It's got a handle, kind of gripping looking thing that looks like a bone hand, and on the top there's almost like a button, and then there's this shaft that goes into you would like a fulcrum kind of thing. It looks like it's made to be pulled away from the side of the sarcophagus, like towards you, like out, like a one-armed bandit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll hand my spear to Cobblepot, and then turn can I turn the skull thing or that piece in there? Does it turn?
Yeah,
With a 4 towards the treasure chest.
It looks like it can turn either way.
Yeah. So I want to turn it to the left so it would make the 4 go towards the treasure chest, right?
Uh-huh.
Four wavy lines.
The wavy lines are actually outside of the thing that you turn.
Oh, okay. They're separate things. Oh, okay.
That's what I was worried about. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to turn the skull so that the mouth of the skull is towards the treasure chest or the potion, or
yeah, towards the treasure chest.
Okay. You do that, and it's sort of like click, 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 and you hear this whirring building up inside of the metal coffin. And when you hit the chest, one of the latches springs open. Kunk.
Oh, okay. So this is a lock. So we better look around and see if there's a way to decipher this combination.
Let's wait 10 breaths and see if anything comes rushing out of the shadows. I don't want to be ambushed by spiders just as we set off a trap. So we'll wait for a moment to see if we hear anything. I will listen using my amazing hear noise ability.
All right.
I also have Templeton smell, see if he can smell the spiders.
Okay. Yeah, do you tell people to be quiet so you can listen?
Yes.
Okay. So you're like, quiet. And from above your head, you do hear something enormous going.
There's
something big up in the ceiling kind of just shift a tiny little bit, and a little bit of debris and sand kind of sifts down out of the hole.
I'm sure it's fine.
That's the way we went down to see, just outside that death chamber.
Yeah.
Could you describe the 3 levers on the wall one more time, Ed?
They're actually on the side of the...
On the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Latches, right?
Kind of
those are the latches. Okay, those are the
like these latches.
And one of them already opened, right?
One of them opened when you moved the mouth of the skull and cranked it over towards where the chest is at.
So now we should have to go back to the left to something.
Probably to the potion, I would think.
Okay.
All right.
What's the number of wavy lines is telling you how many clicks to turn it, perhaps?
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't have opened on 1 then, would it?
No.
You did get my pantomime about the giant spider up above us, right?
Yeah, but I think you can see the gold fever in our eyes as we're huddled about the sarcophagus.
I take another step backwards. Surreptitiously.
All right.
If you end up in the other room, you can watch the hole in the ceiling, okay?
Yeah, there we go. I'll keep an eye on that hole in the other room.
Okay.
So,
And do we see any other corpses in these webs or anything?
No, but you do notice that set into the walls of the chamber, almost completely obscured by the mat of webs along the side, are full-size standing statues of the Wraith King in armor. And there's 4 of them set around the room, just kind of staring down at you in a foreboding sense. And Victor, you get a sense that there is a presence here. It's not spiritually present, but it could be if it wanted to.
Oh.
all right. So do the statues have something different about them?
They're covered in these strange hag sign carvings all down the front.
I don't know what hag sign means.
Hag sign is the ancient runic language that the hags, the original gods of the North, use.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was like some terminology that I didn't know. No, it's lore. Got it. So this makes me feel of a lot like Morrowind. So like one of the statues have a treasure chest and one of them have a potion about them.
Interestingly enough, there is kind of in the hands of one, you kind of push aside some of the webs. In the hands of one, you find a potion kind of engraving, that same bottle engraving.
Is he like, which side of the chamber is he?
He's on the as you enter,
Mhm.
there's just 3 of them. He's on the directly across from the door side of the chamber. And as you clear off the one to the right side of the chamber from the position of the door, his hands have got a carving of a chest in it. And then the one on the left-hand side has a carving of the 3 lines,
Oh, nice.
like returning it to its original position.
So if it was going right to left, we should turn. I think we were going to look out. Turn the dial to the left until we get to the potion. The mouth, you said, is what we turn towards the.
Yep. So
Right.
you crank, 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 and then in the body of the chest, you hear what sounds like a bunch of heavy vials of maybe crystal or glass clunk down into what you think is some kind of readying position.
Wherever the mouth of this thing is, and now turn it to the right.
And one of the latches goes clunk.
Turn it the skull mouth to the 3, I guess, to the right to the 3.
Okay, you're halfway there, and dropping on you out of the ceiling is this giant gray spider.
Man, I thought we were quiet. It was the clunking.
Yeah.
Nah,
The clicking
it's
and
the
yeah.
influence of the Wraith King.
When you say giant, how giant are you talking here, Ed? Are we talking about the giant spiders we
We're
just
about to find out.
This
Bigger than a
thing,
bread
this
box.
thing is 8 feet long end to end, 5 feet high, and probably weighs about 200 pounds.
There you go.
Fantastic.
It's a giant spider. That's a mega spider.
It's a big damn spider.
Garak
Drops
oil.
on Rangrim and tries to give him a bite.
Nice warning, Baron Fell.
Look out!
He's in the other room now.
Let's
What are
out
you
a
talking about?
burly
Why
light
is he
look
in the
out
other
as the
hole?
thing drops on you. All right. So it just hit you.
Oh, son of a biscuit.
Yeah.
PG-13.
Go ahead and make a saving throw versus letter D for me.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't think a 9 makes it either way.
Okay. So you're going to take the full damage from this.
oh no.
You don't drop dead immediately. I only have a few monsters in my world that will just kill you with a failed save.
Okay.
But the damage could maybe kill you.
Sound like a lot of dice.
You
Yeah,
take,
that sounds like a bunch.
I
Yeah.
didn't roll very good. You take 5 points of damage.
All right. The acidic venom
Yep.
boiling in my veins.
How much you got left, Bob?
What's that?
How many hit points you got left?
Trace, my good friend.
Ooh,
That's all right. We're going to kill it
big
right
ones.
now.
3 big ones.
All right, and it is initiative. Rengrim, it's your life on the line. Why don't we roll? You can roll a d6 for the party.
Someone else should probably roll it if it's my life.
Big rolls. Lie if you need to.
Ooh, a 5. I got a 5.
All right, it's your
Nice.
you won initiative. We'll start with you.
All right. Can I just whip out my sword? Because this thing's on top of me. Leave my spear. All right. I'm going to
Yeah.
whip out my sword and try and gash this Morgoth-like beast. I'm looking for a D8, y'all. Here it is.
Okay.
Ooh, a natural 20 again. A 2.
Oh my goodness!
Woo. Good job, Rigram.
A 2.
Cinematic battles.
And an 8. So that's 11 plus 1 is 12 points of damage.
Holy moly, Rangrim, you're so lucky.
I am lucky
Nice.
just to have friends like you.
All right, Baron Sissy Fell. You were also sort of watching. You can do something.
Well, let's see. I'm pretty far from this thing, I assume.
Yes.
I hope. ...
Yeah, he's in the other room. Yes.
You can hurl a
All right,
dagger at it.
I'll whip a dagger into it and finish it for my friend.
All right.
Don't worry. I can do a D4 like nobody's business. 14.
All right, that hits actually.
Woohoo!
Nice.
I can't seem to roll in my dice tray. For 1.
Awesome.
Do I finish it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right, Kimmick the dwarf, you're there at the sarcophagus. You had that gold gleam in your eye.
Hmm.
You can take
Yes.
it back.
Okay. No, that is a total of a 10 to hit. That'll be a big miss.
That does miss. Victor Hearthstone, you are up there. You can take a swing.
All right. And as I charge, I remind my comrades, drink your potions, you fools, before you die a horrible death. And I roll a 5 and completely miss as I'm screaming.
All right. Tom,
Hey,
what
quick
is...
question.
Yeah.
Would Kimmick be able to sort of interpose himself between the spider and Regrin?
Yeah.
Great.
All right, I'm shooting that sling. 14.
You hit.
I did also a massive 1 point of damage.
Yes.
I love it. Woohoo.
Brayden, you and I
First
together,
level.
we will take this down.
Yes,
In
1
about
point
an
at a
hour
time.
Gurak, you know, you're the pinch hitter for the whole team, but usually you do great things. It's your turn.
All right. Can I reach it with my two-handed sword, or do I have to take a shot with my longbow?
You can reach it. That's fine.
All right.
It won't save you.
It's huge.
Oh, and I roll a glorious, natural 3. Plus 3.
Oh no.
We're
All right.
we're all a little unnerved by a spider the size of a Buick. That's all I
Yeah,
can say.
yeah. Hey, Kimmick, roll a d6 initiative for the party, if you would.
All right, here we go. Now it's a 2.
All right, the spider gets to go again. It's going to try to get at Rengrim, but Kimmick is in the way, so it'll attack Kimmick.
AC 2.
Oh boy. It still hit you.
Oh.
Make a D6
Okay.
throw.
How are you AC?
Yeah, here we go.
0.
I made the saving throw.
Woohoo!
Awesome. You only take half damage. So
Okay.
you take 3 points of damage.
All right.
All right, and Kimmick, you can swing back.
Sounds good. Nope. That's a 7 to hit. That's a big miss.
All right, Baron Sissy Fell, you want to throw a dagger?
I'm not getting close to that thing. Are you insane? This time I roll a 10.
Okay. Let's see. That is Baron Sissy Fell. Rengrim, this dwarf is in your way. He's trying to save your life. You have a moment. Do you want to down your potion?
Yep, I'll certainly let him. I'll sheath my sword, down my potion, and grab my spear.
All right, great. Your skin turns into lizard scales and your armor class improves for a little while, and you become immune to poison, which is good. All right, Victor.
Yes, all right, here we go. Blessing from this gods in this evil Wraith King lair. Guide my blow. 5, no.
All
Wrong way
right.
to guide it.
Tom, Braden's turn.
All right, sling again. Ooh, natural 20.
Oh my God, wait.
And I roll 2d4.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3. All right, 3 and a 4, so I got 7.
7 damage, all right.
I feel like David.
That's exactly correct. You swing your sling and the rock hits the giant spider right through the forehead and then exits out the other side of its head. And ichor goes everywhere and it sort of collapses in on itself and its little bug legs kind of curl in and it is slain.
Yay.
Well done, Druid.
Nice.
Good riddance, I say.
And
Has
Remember,
anyone been injured?
you are set. You notice that the last of the 3 latches has come open as you had moved that skull over to that third spot that you wanted. What do you do now?
Hold on a moment, my friends. Let's just listen again and make sure no more spiders are approaching. So I'm going to wait and listen for any sounds of scuttering or skittling or
Skiddly-doo.
skiddly-doo or...
No, it's fine.
Okay. Actually, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to see if I can harvest the venom from this spider as well.
I'll pretend you didn't say that.
Good call.
All right. I'm going to try and harvest venom from the spider.
Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
be
Don't miss your roll, man. Don't miss your roll.
I have
Roll a-
gloves on.
Roll a d20 under your dex.
Under my dex, I rolled a 5.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you're able to drain what poison you can out of it.
Okay. How many doses do I think approximately?
4.
Okay.
Too bad all you had was a straw.
All right, what do you want to do about? We have enough time to wrap this up. How do you want to deal with this sarcophagus?
Well, it's unlatched now, right?
It looks like it's unlatched. Yeah.
Well, there's still a lever.
And we did hear some sort of mechanism activate, which doesn't mean we correctly deactivated a trap in order
Can we
unlock
pull?
it.
Can we, if we attach a rope to the lever, could we pull it?
You
No.
should try. Yeah, you
There's
can-
You have a grappling hook.
Oh, there was
There's a
Oh, you
button
said
on
there
the
was a-
top.
button on the top. Yeah.
You should push in the button. Rengrim will get the blood and dust off of his hands with his gauntleted hand, pull it, and he'll pull it.
Now,
Prepare
while he's doing that, you guys, what are your reactions to him walking up and just taking charge and doing that?
I'm fine with it, but I'm watching the statue nearest me, which is the one with the wavy lines.
All right, so you're out at the edge of the room.
Yeah.
It's a
I
40
shake.
by 40.
Yeah.
I'm covering my mouth with my arm.
Gurak grabs the door before he reaches the sarcophagus and says, "You know what could lie inside that coffin. This entire city used to be ruled by the Wraith King, and it's rumored that several of his lieutenants are entombed within these underground passageways."
So Guruk is at the word entombed, holding the dwarf, talking to him as Rengrim has finished holding the lever.
Baron Fell is probably 10 to 15 feet down the corridor by the time he realizes what's happening.
Have you dragged your hireling with you?
Yes, with Callop in tow.
Yep, just so you can throw him at a spider if something comes.
Hey,
Absolutely.
you're taking our light?
You won't need
No,
it.
he's not.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so you pull this thing. There's a cracking noise inside of the sarcophagus, and out of the eyes and nose of the skull on the top, this green-black gas billows out and surrounds the sarcophagus out to an area of 10 feet around the sarcophagus. Now,
"Well, you killed us."
Now, you and Victor are just on the very last seconds of your max rolled anti-poison lizard skin stuff. So it turns out that you don't even have to make a save versus D, which is good because that would have been a really, really bad thing. I think I have save versus D or die horribly in 1d6 combat rounds or something like that.
Ouch.
All right, and the top of the sarcophagus kind of moves a little bit.
Oh, so it is loosened. Oh, I thought maybe we did the wrong thing. We did the right thing, but still they threaten us with
Tried to
their
kill us.
empty
Yeah.
threats.
Yeah.
Can we open the coffin?
Yeah, you can.
Let's do it.
You guys see inside of the coffin? You see that?
Oh boy.
Oh my
Treasure.
goodness.
You see a wand. You see an axe. You see a couple of potions. You see a blade and a scroll.
Are there really numbers in there?
Yes, glowing and floating next to them.
NCIS tags. Yeah.
Yep.
Fool am I say whistlingly.
All right, there
Oh, a
is
lucky fool.
There is a wand that looks like it's made out of a strange looking iron. You can call it a wand of meteoric iron. There is a scroll case. There is a wavy bladed black steel dagger.
That sounds right up my alley. That looks beautiful. It matches my black leather.
There is a battle axe.
Yes.
The battle axe has a couple of symbols on it, dwarf. It has the symbol of the old kingdom of Morgwin.
Ooh.
It has a druid of the henge sign and a hag sign for the hag Hecuba.
That's a cool axe.
Yes, it is.
There is a green potion and an orange potion and a bunch of loose coins in there.
My friends, I think we have pressed our luck as much as we could. Let's gather these treasures and get to safety.
Gurak nods his head appreciatively and says, "This group isn't half bad. I could have sworn we would all have met our end here. Well done, boys."
I tried.
How many coins, Ed? Not that anyone's counting, but I am.
All right. You find 100 gold, 150 silver, and 300 copper.
That is a good haul.
Per player?
Not bad.
Nope, that's total.
Total.
So the total we found was 104 gold, 177 silver, and 369 copper.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
All right.
treasure's a little slow coming, but you also find a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, a lot of magical items. So
Shall we head back to the inn or to the abandoned shop?
I think we should go back to the inn, my friends.
so the
We
half
pressed
orc
our luck
doesn't
and
stab
drinks are
us.
on me.
Okay. Just to kind of wrap up, because part of the campaign, I don't really know who could show up from game to game. So what I'd like to do is at least divide up the scroll case, the potions, and the axe, the dagger, and the wand.
Sure.
Wait, is the scroll case look arcane or does it look
Hermetic.
yeah.
It looks arcane.
Mm-hmm.
And very old, like maybe even pre-Pentagarchy, Kingdom of Asmergar, heretical magic, strange spells old.
So, okay. Well, I have no use for any of these items. However, I would like to fund a at least some pay for the city guard. So if I could take my share of treasure in gold, that would be well met.
Okay, do you guys want to let Victor take like half of the gold as his share and forego any magic items?
That's fine with me.
Gurak
would make-
raises his hand and says, "Not so fast, cleric. I appreciate you wanting to fill the coffers of the guard with your goodwill, but I have my own mouth to feed."
Yes. And as I remember quite right, you already have the town guard's treasure, don't you?
"And what of it, cleric?" Garrick
Do
says.
you want to have the half orc take the other 50 gold as his share?
I need a couple of coins. I don't know.
Hey, the half orc isn't asking for half the share. He's asking for the share to be divided amongst the party.
Ah, okay.
Well,
Well,
what
we
if
could do that and then just kick in if we want to help out the cleric.
Okay.
Indeed, I'm very happy to help contribute to Victor's contribution to the guard from
Now
my
keep-
share.
Now, keep in mind, you
Yes.
guys have 2-player characters, or Hobbs, you'll eventually have 2-player characters. So, like, Gurak's companion character in his stable of 2 characters is a magic user. So, if you want to take an item that would actually benefit a magic user, you can just say that Gurak gives that item over to your magic user.
So we're partners.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Do we have any other magic users in the party?
We have a couple elves. Well, an elf.
Yeah, my character Courvoisier can use magic, so I'm assuming he could use a wand as well. Ed, is that correct?
Yeah, he could use the wand, and any spellcaster could use the scroll. Although I will say, Gurak, that your heretical already magic user probably would want that scroll.
Okay, all right. Gurak says, I think my charge would have use of that piece of paper. Would anyone mind if I took it and secured it for him?
As your portion of the loot? Not at all.
As my portion of the loot? Hold on one second. this
I thought that's how we were dividing this up.
That's how it works. Yes.
My
Your
friends,
magical
my
portion.
friends.
Your magical portion. There'll be.
Let's exit here first and have this discussion at the Black Pilgrim. I am uneasy in the
From what? The spiders or the darkness or the race lords?
Yes. Actually, I think you looked at the three main reasons.
Suddenly the thief is uneasy.
Gurak says, very well. We can sort out this treasure once we arrive back at the Black Pilgrim. That's fine with me.
No problem.
Thank you, gentlemen. And please, I'm a nobleman, not a thief. I would just appreciate you keeping that in mind.
My
And we shall
apologies.
shut the doors behind us as we exit.
Yes.
We were never here.
All right, we're gonna back out, Mr. Khan.
Okay.
And once we are safely sitting in the Black Pilgrim, ale in hand, then we will figure out how best to disseminate our loot.
Gurak, that's the spell in the scroll. That's what it looks like.
Well, take a look at that work of art, guys.
Nice job,
That is
man.
awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
There's
So-
acorns.
So in Zaxxon's file, if you play a magic user in this world, all of these different runes, they have an alphabetical code they can use to decode what the word of power is and what it does, and any other information about the spell. So this is a heretical spell that is not found in any of the regular D&D spells, and it's a really nasty one.
Mm.
Well, that's good motivation to take Zuxon out for a stroll next time.
Yep, and it's see the wands here. It is from one of the guild magic. So since he's a guild mage, he would recognize this as guild magic.
Very cool.
Well, Baron Fell would be very happy to lay his hands on either the Black Dagger or the wand. Both of them have caught his fancy. So, if depending upon what everyone else decides.
Okay.
And
All right,
what are we deciding?
Any input from anybody? There's also an axe.
Kimek is highly interested in the axe.
Are you guys okay if Kimmik takes the axe?
Yep.
Fine with me. I have no trees to chop.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm cool
Out
with
of
it.
curiosity, Ed, let's say, I mean, I think that, following from the experiences that I've had so far with this player group, we're all incredible people and very generous when it comes to role playing and the game itself. But let's say there's a situation where two players really want a particular magic item and it's contested. Is there a roll off? I mean, how do you handle that?
Yeah, I would. Well, we don't have a
Combat
way
to the death.
to roll publicly. Eventually we'll
I
have
concede.
software that we can use for that. But we could do rock paper scissors on screen.
Well,
Is there,
I don't think it's ever going to come to that with this group of people. I think you're all just amazing. But yeah, no, Spencer, enjoy your magic axe.
Spencer, write
Thank
down
you.
that you have Hecuba's axe.
Okay.
Dun dun dun.
yeah, that doesn't sound ominous.
Yeah, yeah. Ouch.
Let's
Oh,
make
sure,
this-
it's fine.
Let's make a decision. Let's make a decision for Sissy Fell. Does he get the dagger or the wand, guys? What do you think?
Well, if he's interested in the wand, I would like the dagger. I use dagger.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You have
What do you want?
Sissy Fell has the dark wand of meteoric iron.
Excellent.
So this works out well. Rengrim takes the 2 potions, and I'll take the cash.
Rengrim has his eyes on the cash for sure.
All right.
Believe it was
Rengrim, when you go back to the Black Pilgrim, the guy upstairs is able to help you identify your potions safely. So your dark green potion is a potion of cure wounds. It heals.
Nice.
It heals for 2d8 plus 4 as a single dose.
Wow.
And then the orange potion is 2 doses of cure poison.
Also nice.
Okay. And then who has the dagger?
Braden.
Good.
Braden, you have the Kingdom of Asmergar's Sacrificial Blade.
Nice.
That's all full of butterflies and warm fuzzy feelings for you. All right. Is everybody satisfied with their loot?
So
Yeah,
you,
how are
so
we
you gave
dividing
100
gold?
gold pieces to Victor? Is that what we did?
I
At
think
first I
so.
was like, oh, that's fine.
Everybody else got like valuable magical
Yeah, it
items.
sounds fair.
You guys
That's
can
fine.
split up the silver.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
split
if we
the silver.
If we can split up the silver and copper, then we can also, make sure that we pay Calip and
Yeah.
give him additional bonus of an extra 10 silver.
Yes.
Okay.
for
What
his
is he
service.
making
character
altogether in terms of silver? What
Was
did
it
you promise
150?
him?
It was 150, right, total?
It was 150 silver in the sarcophagus plus
We actually have 177 because we had got some off the
177
kobolds and
calculator
the
here.
packs.
Right. So if we can just subtract 10 off of that so that we've got 167 after we pay, or how much? It's 10 silver to a gold.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll give 20 to Calip then, which is his 10% or 1%.
All right. That means that everybody gets 27 silver pieces.
Excellent.
I guess I did double my wealth.
It's not too shabby.
And there was 300 copper plus a few more, right?
Yeah, 369 altogether.
Okay. 269 divided by 6. Everybody gets 61 copper, and then there's a few that go into party treasure.
Right, and there's 4 more gold left too.
Yeah,
give
that
them
can go
100.
into party treasure.
Is the Free Merchants Guild fairly reliable, or would I be better off going right to the head of the guards? Like,
Well, they're foreigners like you.
Yeah.
If the money's for the guards, then give it to the guards.
You could go over to the Free Merchants Guild as something that you want to do the next time we play and
Yeah.
pay them some gold. That'd be totally fine.
okay, awesome.
All right. Let me do a quick little bit of math here. Killed some crabs. You got some crabs.
I have a cure for that.
Killed a giant spider. You killed a really big giant spider.
Kobolds.
You killed some kobolds. Yep. Don't forget those.
You survived traps. We should get something for that.
Yep, you did.
Yeah, you got to live.
Yep. Hold on, let me divide this up. Now, I've been told that I'm too generous with first-time players before, but I'm just going to stick with my first-time player rule, if that's okay.
Mhm.
Oh, that's fine.
So,
What is that?
Hobbs and Matt, or Mike,
Mhm.
and Spencer, the very first time you're out of the gate, you get if the party had gotten more than this, you would get it, but you get 350 welcome to the campaign experience points.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thanks.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
No problem. And then everybody else gets 180 experience points.
Do we get a bonus for
Prime requisite.
High prime.
yeah, prerequisite bonus for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just follow the rules for that.
Yeah.
And then if you decide to sell, a potion or a magic item. If you have a magic item and you sell it, then you can get some of the gold value as experience points if you want to do that instead of have the item.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a lot of potential extra experience, couldn't it?
Yeah, I don't do 1-for-1, but you can get a chunk by doing that. But you're giving up an item, and I don't really give out magic items very easily or non-lethally.
No, and they all seem to be designed with a lot of love and care, with their each individual names.
Oh, you'll have lots of fun with those, or at least I will.
Are you ever going to tell us what they do, Ed?
Yeah, I'm sure eventually.
Eventually.
When we start bleeding and yeah.
So first-time players, how was the experience of the Book of the North for you guys?
Well
That was
done.
good.
Thank you, everybody. It was great.
Yeah, it was very good.
Very
It's
well run, Ed.
very similar to what I'm used to. So it was a good job.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks everybody for playing.
Yeah, I think there's what I like about what Ed does is that he provides like a sampling plate for everyone. So there's a little bit of a stage for role playing. There's a bit of a little puzzle room for those who love puzzles. Some combats. It really covers all the major sort of bases for an old school role playing game.
Yeah, definitely well done.
Good job.
Thank you. I will say that it's pretty much where you guys stick your noses. So there are parts in here, there are rooms you're going to look at, like this one, where you could say, guys, do we really want to go in this room? And, if you decide to go in, it could end up killing everybody. So, it's just pretty much an open world, and it's up to you what you want to do. So
I prefer that. I'd rather the world not be level appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for all of your time tonight. I had a great time.
Thank you,
Shane,
Ed.
thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, everyone. It was great meeting all the new players, Hobbs, Victor, Spencer. Spencer, we played before, haven't we?
It seems familiar. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, I know that Victor and Hobbs are first-timers to the group for sure. You guys were